I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fixed fire. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1 exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 18, Episode number 4003. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! And here are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, the Men's Room shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack. Drink-headed drunk.
All right, here we go. Because of maps and the way they're drawn, a woman is shocked to find out that Alaska is not an island state. Mm-hmm. To the friendly skies where a horse forces a plane to return to the gate. Burglars repel into a store for a chance to win millions in cash. A driver of Santa Train for Kids, he was carrying quite the stash. And a real-life Texas horse thief is found hiding out in the U.S. Virgin Islands. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, everyone has their opinion of social media, but parents, they tend to be the most concerned and outspoken because, well, we try to protect our kids from all that entails. In fact, Meta, Google, Snap, and TikTok currently in federal court fighting a class action lawsuit that accuses them of profiting by making their apps addictive and harmful to children. Hell, the country of Nepal, they just banned TikTok, joining India, the state of Montana, and the UK Parliament. Now, when I was a kid, there was no social media, so the big bad wolf, it was rock and roll and heavy metal music. Certainly, that would lead you to a life of crime. Then hip-hop came along, and it became the new boogeyman. Then the boogeyman morphed into a little show called The Simpsons that parents everywhere just thought would drag their kids down the wrong road. Now, surely, The Simpsons would corrupt our youth. But then South Park came along with video games, etc., etc. But these were the big societal demons. But as a kid, you kind of put that nonsense out of your mind, but you still had to deal with those things that your parents attributed directly to you because of a behavior or a diagnosis or your weirdness or maybe all of the above. And look, we've all been there, right? Parents, they were worried about you for your bad grades, your nut allergy, worried about sex, drugs, bullying, your hobbies, your friends, your choice of music or fashion, or just because you were awkward. We've all been there. And when you were a teen, your parents had to sit you down because they were worried about something you're doing or something you're not doing or something that's going on in the country that they were worried you were interested in. And that's what today's question is. Let's go back and revisit those silly things our parents worried about. And that's what our question is. When you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you?
To be a part of the big show, call 206-803-ROCK. You can like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fixed fire. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
If you're a business owner, you know these sounds mean sales. And from the sound of it, your business is growing. Whether you're fulfilling orders from your home office or warehouse, Stamps.com helps you stress less about mailing and shipping and spend more time doing what you love most. Listening to ASMR. I mean, growing your business. But as you grow, so does the need for efficiency. Stamps.com simplifies your shipping and mailing process. Import orders from wherever you sell online. Find the lowest rates with the fastest delivery times. Instantly deliver tracking updates to your customers. And buy shipping and mailing supplies when you run low. Save time and money on mailing and shipping. Get started at Stamps.com today with code PROGRAM for a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale.
KISW.
All the fellas, and away we go. Welcome to Season 18, Episode number 4003. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. Exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Steve, I don't know how you do it. Every week you come up with 3 stories from the news of people doing bad things. We pit them against each other. It is up to us to determine out of the 3 stories which one sucks the least. I understand it's going to be a sucky Who Sucks Less today.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst, but it's not really. Actually, I guess the first story of the 3 is probably the worst. And what'll shock you about the first story is who the responsible party is. Responsible in a good way.
Okay, all right.
Let's see. Second story, just piss you off. Third story is just weird.
All right, bless you, Mike.
You'll make it?
Who Sucks Less is coming up. What else do we have for you today? Oh, lucky you. More Men's Room every Monday through Friday exclusively on the Odyssey app. We'll see you for the Men's Room Happy Hour in episode number 497. If you don't have the Odyssey app, download now. It's absolutely free. All of our daily podcasts are on there. The weekly podcasts that we do, the Make It Cast, the podcast. Greatest Story Never Told podcast, our weekly Best Of podcast. We have our own radio station on there. We're going to update that shortly.
That is correct.
And pick some new tunes for you. But
our personal program director, Mike, has put out the memo that we might, 50 songs each, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, 50 songs.
That's what we got,
50.
That's what we've got on there right now.
All right.
50
Bigger
brand new
workload,
tunes.
man.
Yes,
I know.
exactly.
Well, that's going to be a lot of repeats.
Well, it's quite
Well,
the
not
mix.
repeats that we all have the same one.
Sure.
I should probably ask our friend Leslie if it's okay.
Well, you know, that would help.
Oh, just do it. She'll let you know.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a music channel of some of our favorite tunes, all kinds of genres on there. Check that out. And, of course, there is the Men's Room Happy Hour channel. Now, that just basically runs a best of repeats of our shows 24 hours a day. Then we cut in at 6 o'clock for the Men's Room Happy Hour. So hopefully we'll see you coming up at 6 o'clock. Download the Odyssey app. What else do we have? Too Much Show. Your chance to win tickets to see Green Day. Now, granted, that's next year in September at T-Mobile Park, but they're playing with the Smashing Pumpkins and Rancid. We have the tickets. What they said was pick a time and then give out the secret word. So today we determined that we will give you the time at 4:20 for the secret word for your chance.
Will we?
Yes, for your chance to win tickets to see Green Day. So when you hear the secret word, just text that to 206-803-ROCK and your chance to check out Green Day, Smashing Pumpkins, T-Mobile Park, September 23rd. That'll be a cold outdoor show, won't it? Or do they close the lid, do you think?
If it's going to be cold, I think
September 23rd, you'll be fine.
Yeah, we should be all right.
I mean, it's a little hit and miss.
It's October that scares me.
Right, I don't plan anything outside in October.
Well, this is the end of September. So.
I know. I'm saying it's hit and miss, man.
Either way, I mean, you have a chance to win those tickets. Secret word coming up at 4:20.
Maybe.
And today we're going to talk about when you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? Obviously, generationally, that changes from time to time. As far as myself being a parent now, I know that my priorities were a lot different than the priorities of my parents as far as the exposure of what I was worried about compared to what my parents were worried about with myself. Now, strangely enough, you brought up bands. For whatever reason, in 1976, all I wanted was a KISS T-shirt. I had a couple KISS records. That wasn't the problem. For
you already had a few.
I had a few.
I did not get my first one until 77.
That's right. But I could not wear a KISS T-shirt.
What was the difference between you displaying your like of the band versus your kid actively listening to it?
I am not sure. I don't know how they drew that line in the sand, but they did.
Well, it's like you can listen to it, but I don't want the other parents to know my kid Miles is listening to it.
So they're protecting themselves on that.
That's what I would think it is.
Yeah, and keep in mind, man.
Look, man, we still do it now. I mean, the one thing, and I've said this to my kids, you don't have to say it as much now, but like anything with school, like, look, if you suck at school because you're stupid, we can work around that. If we suck at school because you're lazy, we can work around that. If I have to hear about your behavior, right, my whole thing, don't embarrass me by being you.
Right. Yep.
And just keep in mind that has been generational because I heard that a million times from my parents, and I failed them at every turn.
Now, you guys might have had a better selection of stuff growing up as far as you living in a little bit bigger towns. But where I grew up, you know, T-shirts that were cool were hard to find. Whether it was I had the Farrah Fawcett poster
on a shirt
when I was 5 years old, man.
That was okay.
When I was 5 years old, I had a chick in a bikini, no problem.
Right.
But the only time that I could get cool T-shirts like that was when we took a vacation to Ocean City, Maryland, and they had T-shirt shops where you could either
on the boardwalk.
Yeah, you could either pick out the logo. I mean, not necessarily.
How many iron-ons did you buy for the T-shirt?
The shirts weren't on the rack necessarily. They were all blanks, most of them. And then you went and you picked what you wanted to put on there, and then they
for an extra $3.
They do the steam thing, man, and you'd have KISS logo on the front of your shirt or whatever it was you wanted. And I couldn't get a shirt that was cool anywhere else other than Ocean City once a year. So when I went there, I had in mind exactly what I wanted to get all the time. T-shirts that I'd seen that people were wearing in magazines or whatever, like cool shirts. Nothing like that was in West Virginia.
Right.
So when I went to the beach and they said no KISS T-shirt for you, I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated.
It's soul-crushing, man.
And so my mom told me that they determined that for Christmas the next year, they were going to get me a KISS T-shirt. Well, the problem with that was that they could not find one.
Right.
So it was just formatical. I did not know this. But then the next year we go to the beach, and I've got two of them on my bed when I came back from the beach one day.
How happy were you?
I was ecstatic. I really was. I don't know what wall I broke down, but as far as, you know, everything else was concerned, whenever I left the house in the morning, especially in the summertime, obviously school is a different situation, but in the summertime, I was expected to leave the house. I was expected to play outside. I was expected to do my chores, to maybe have some part-time jobs, babysitting, cutting grass, doing all those things. But they did not give a flying anything when I got home. They would have a plate ready for me. I would warm it up in the microwave. I never had to be home for dinner. They never asked where I was. They never asked who I was with, what I was doing. I could not see them for days, make a phone call, go like, hey, I'm staying at Brian's house tonight. They, yeah, fine, whatever. Their only concern was, you probably need to come home at some point in time. You've been there for 2 days. Take a shower.
Take a shower. Yeah, I mean, the general rule in the summer was, when you get out of bed, you have about an hour or two, then leave the house, or as my mother would put it, leave my house. And then they did not expect to see you, nor did they want to see you until the sun went down. That was it. And same thing. You came home, because when you're a kid, right, the way you play as a kid, you probably cried 4 times from hurting yourself. You've ripped up a pair of pants, and there's dried blood on you because that's how kids play. You would come home, there's dry tears, there's dry blood, ripped up clothes, grass stains on your shirt. How was your day? That's it. They never asked, what in the hell happened to you?
We would get on the city bus. It was a quarter. We would go downtown. We would hang out downtown, go to the arcade, go all the places that we wanted to go, and get on the bus and come home. Now, I know for a fact that I've had conversation with my kid's mom about the fact that I will just Uber them to your house. And they were maybe 12, 13 years old, 14 years old at the time. That was questionable. The fact that they could even get on a bus. Now, that was questionable.
Right.
I did it all the time. In first grade, I walked over a half a mile to school every day at home, and latchkey kid. That was not a big deal. the idea of them walking that far or doing any of that stuff for whatever reason, I don't know what changed over the years.
I mean, I was a latchkey kid. I mean, like 7th, 8th grade, didn't seem that crazy. And I mean, we used to take the metro sometimes downtown to go check out stuff.
When I lived in Baltimore, that was it. Like, hey, my parents were like, look, there's a bus system.
Yeah.
This is Baltimore. People are getting gunned down, and they're like, yeah, if you want to go to this place, here's 75 cents, as it was then, and get your ass on the bus.
It's kind of funny now. So if I get on a city bus now and there's a group of teenagers in the back, I'm like, Christ.
Yeah. Even though you were one.
I know. I'm just like, I don't want to hear it.
When my daughter went to see Snoop Dogg at the Paramount Theater, she's going to see Snoop Dogg.
Right.
It's the Puff Puff Pastor. The entire Paramount is full of marijuana smoke. People smoking joints, pass them around. That's the name of the game. Now, and this was like her birthday present or whatever. So she has 3 or 4 friends. They show up at my house. They're going to crash there for the night, but they still needed a ride to the venue. Well, I'm at work. They wanted to get there early. They wanted to get there because it was festival seating. So they were standing in line. They went to go get...
Yeah, they want to get up in the front.
The question is, how do they get from my house in Fremont to the Paramount? And I said, hey, get on the 40, take the bus.
Yeah, take the bus.
Go downtown, walk up to the theater, wherever you're going for dinner. I definitely had a discussion with their mom that was like, are you sure the bus is safe? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
I'm not sure it's safe, but it is what it is.
Okay, then I'll get them an Uber. I'll get them one of those Uber SUVs, so that all the kids can fit in there. Well, who's the Uber driver? I don't know. I haven't got.
It's an Uber.
It's Ahmed. Do you know him?
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to figure out how to pronounce his name before he gets here so I don't butcher it when he goes, James.
Yeah, but I don't know who he is.
Yeah, exactly. Do you feel that that's safe? I'm just thinking to myself, they're going to Snoop Dogg.
You're missing the destination.
I did not tell her mom, I'm sure she did, that Snoop actually handed her a joint because they got in first and they were up in the front. So, like, all of her friends were past one from, that was not an issue. These kids are 17 years old.
Yeah.
The problem was the fact that they might ride the bus. They might be in an Uber, which to me was just like, wow, this is...
That's the stuff you're worried about.
Right, correct. So it's just...
But that's where we are. But I think a lot of it is just what people hear, because we're inundated with bad stories now. But I want to say, like, the FBI released some study a couple of years ago, and they said, believe it or not, from like the 1960s until maybe 2020, I think it was the last time they had the data out, they said, as far as... like kidnapping and all those big grand things that you worry about as a parent, the percentage of it happening hasn't changed. Your kids are as safe now from that kind of thing. They're as safe now as they were when we were, like you said, walking a mile to school. Right. It really hasn't gone up. You don't need to worry about it.
There was no Christmas where I didn't get what I would consider possibly one of the most dangerous toys that you could have. That was not an issue. Again, it was a KISS t-shirt.
Right.
It was bands that I liked. It was posters that I could put up in my room. I got a slingshot with silver balls that were about the size of marbles.
Yeah.
And this was a pro slingshot. Like, it had a little catch thing on the back. That thing was lethal. It had an arm strap on.
I remember that, yeah.
And I mean, you could do some damage.
But when we were growing up, and we might be one of the last generations where this seemed to be the truth, but when you go back and look at it, parents worried about what they perceive to be moral issues. So it's the TV show that's on, right, or the bands that have come out, and like some kids, because all they know is that they spit blood and he's dressed like a demon. So they're worried about that. But they'd hand you a freaking Uzi and tell you to go shoot at a gas tank in the backyard.
I got nunchucks. I got throwing stars.
I had BB guns.
Yeah. I had a Rambo knife. It had a compass on the bottom of it. I had a little survival kit on the inside. Bow and arrow, but a whitetail hunter, a compound bow. Pellet guns, pellet pistols, BB guns. All of these.
It was all moral stuff. You can ride in the back of the pickup truck.
Right.
It doesn't matter. But you would not wear your KISS shirt while you stand up in the back of the pickup truck while I do 60 and try to fishtail so the kids, quote unquote, can have fun.
R-rated movies.
I was going to say, I remember the huge one for us was The Chronic, Dre's first album. Like, we were dying to hear it. They weren't going to buy it for us. My cousin, it's a good story because my cousin somehow acquired it, and we were at the pool. We came up with a great plan. We snuck out to go to the snack bar, and then we sat out in the woods and listened to it together.
And how awesome of a moment.
It's probably, honestly, one of the greatest, album listening things I've ever done in my life.
You know what's funny about that, though, is like a lot of times when you put up a certain amount of backlash, it backfires on you. So years ago, Tipper Gore, the wife of Al Gore, her daughter bought a Prince record.
Big Al.
She hears it. She freaks out at the lyrics because news to her. Prince sings about sex a lot. So mom freaks out, and this became like a 1.5 year long battle where she's going in front of Congress, but kind of ruining it for us because I'm in my teen years at this point. So everything she hated was probably crap that I'm going to like. She went after Maiden, Judas Priest, KISS, Prince, you name it, right? So finally, the compromise, and keep in mind, when she's testifying in Congress, some of the luminaries that the music world put out there was John Denver. You go, cool, because he's anti-censorship. Alice Cooper, you go, right on. Dee Snider and frickin' Blackie Lawless from the band Wasp. So these are the people that we sent out there to defend our ability to listen. The compromise they came up with was the PMRC, the Parents Musical Resource Center, I believe it was. And that's when they started putting the explicit stickers on the record.
I think Two Live Crew was the first one to get one.
But what they found was, pre-internet, man, it was hard to get a buzz on a band. Either you're played on the radio or you're not. There's no other way to find it out. Well, now you went to the record store, and kids just looked for those stickers.
You put rated R on.
And when you saw those stickers, you're like, I'm buying that album because that's got the stuff I want. So all these bands ended up blowing up that really, they'd been out for a while. No one was tracking with them, but all the kids, all the teens, now you told us this is forbidden. You're like, ooh, I want that because they're going to cuss a little bit and they're going to talk about, and record sales blew through the roof.
Miles, you're right. If Two Live Crew, and I'm not trying to take a shot at them, but if it wasn't for that label, they'd be a Miami rap band, period.
That's exactly
what
I mean.
The cover and all the different things.
They blew up because of that. And the thing
USA.
was, they wouldn't not sell you the record because you're underage. It was just a warning label. Right?
It wasn't like an R-rated movie. They would need to know your ID.
They'd still sell you the record.
And that was another thing. As far as, it's just interesting what certain parents say. This is the important part. I could watch Jaws. Terrified. I mean, absolutely.
It scared the living bejesus out of
me. There were a few movies back then that were pretty terrifying movies. If the movie involved violence, I was allowed to watch it with an R rating. If the movie had language or it had boobs, because that's all you're going to get back then. You're not going to get full frontal. You're not going to have sexy. Those aren't the movies we were correct. It was the Animal Houses of the world,
right?
And those types of movies. Those were off limits. So, but at my buddy's house, who had HBO, where I spent the night, that was my ticket to be able to watch all of the things that I could not watch at home because my parents wouldn't let me.
HBO were my first boobs, because it was Friday the 13th. We'd heard about the movie, all right? And the only reason my parents did not let me see Friday the 13th as a movie, because there's boobs in it. They didn't tell me that part. They thought, oh, it'll be too scary for you, whatever. So I remember I told them the next day, I was like, man, I saw Friday the 13th at Brad's house. They have this thing called HBO, which was brand new. I said, it was stupid. It's not really scary. And my mom's like, oh, my God, did you see boobs? I'm like, I saw a lot of boobs, man. Yeah, I saw a whole lot of boobs.
That was the main reason why every time I bought movies, I always went for the uncensored version.
Yes.
When you were young enough, it was like, I'm going to get some boob with this one.
That's exactly
it.
Am I
Do you know how many bad naked you had to watch on Real Sex on HBO to get good naked?
I know, man. We've all been there.
Lots.
A lot.
I could still see that one dude licking that orange.
And then on the flip side, my mom's mother, she was a nurse for 35 years, 40 years of her life. So nudity and your anatomy was not off limits as far as being able to talk about it, about being able to see it. All those things, it was completely natural. Whether I could look at the National Geographic. My grandmother had Playboy magazines. Believe it or not, my grandmother, she loved the beautifulness of the women, and she loved reading the articles that were in play. She liked the comics, the jokes. She read that thing top to bottom. Now, when I went to my grandparents' house, my mom would go around and start picking them up, and my grandmother would go, Mary, it's okay. It's just a naked woman.
Right.
It's not bad.
He's aspiring for that anyway.
Exactly.
Newsflash.
Now, my mom was like, my grandmother was like, it's just a naked woman.
You know what you say, kids? You look at your parents and go, how did I get here?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You got a problem though with the nakedness. I'm just curious. How did I get here?
And now it's reverse. If I watch a show or a movie with my mom, and there's nudity, I'm like, this is awkward.
Yeah, I know. Now I don't want to watch. You never want to watch it with your parents.
Yeah. So our question, when you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? 206-803-ROCK.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage, to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's here to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got
got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 15% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast.
Hey, cat-loving couples dreaming of a proposal that includes your furry feline? Head on over to FelixPerfectProposal.com for a shot at winning over $4,000 for your dream ring and a special treat for your feline accomplice. Your engagement, your way. Let's make it happen together. Visit Felix, PURRFECT, Proposal.com to enter today. This contest is not being run in connection with the solicitation of or the marketing of an insurance product.
Getting older means a world of change, but some things still stay the same, like being at risk for type 1 diabetes, because type 1 can happen at any age. So screen it like you mean it. If just one person in your family has type 1, you're up to 15 times more likely to get it too. And 50% of type 1 diagnoses happen after the age of 18. So screen it like you mean it. Type 1 diabetes starts long before you need insulin, and one blood test could help you spot it early and lower the risk of serious complications like diabetic ketoacidosis, known as DKA. So don't get caught by surprise. Screen it like you mean it, because getting answers now can help you get prepared. The more you know, the more you can do. So don't wait. Talk to a doctor about how to get screened. Tap now or visit screenfortype1.com to learn more. Again, that's screenfortype1.com. And screen it like you mean it.
Deep underground the Jelly Belly factory, Bibi is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I've done it again!
Is it pomegranate or old bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough?
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Our question: when you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Matt. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, gentlemen. How you doing?
Hola.
I think I just broke up, but I got you. What's up?
We were just wondering what your parents worried about with you when you were a kid.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. So my mom, she worked for the school district down there in Tacoma area, and she worked for like special ed and occupational therapy, and lots of kids with Asperger's, ADHD, like autism, you name it. So anyway, me as a kid, I was smart enough. I'm not going to say I was a genius or nothing, but I was smart enough. But anyway, she was always looking at everything that I did and thinking that, like, I'm on the spectrum for this or that. And like, she had me tested a bunch of times for like, all sorts of different things you can't even imagine. But, the tests where I was super easy, it was like, put the round peg in the round hole. So anyway, I always passed all these tests with flying colors, and then they usually gave me some candy like fruit stripe gum or whatever for, getting A+ on the, I'm not on the spectrum test. But she's still always just like, worried that maybe I was, like, oh yeah, you stuttered one time. And so like that was apparently like enough for like another like series of tests.
So basically, she's watching you like a hawk, and anytime your behavior was not what she would consider normal, you got another test.
Oh, yeah. Like, can you imagine, like, trying to be dating or, like, marriage or with, like, a psychologist or, like, a sex therapist or something like that? Like, they're always going to be watching out for every little thing that you do.
Analyze everything.
Yeah. I was put into counseling as well. Yeah. I was put into family therapy, all the crap.
Now, did you do anything ever that really made her wonder about it, or was it just her paranoia?
I mean, like I said, I'm not always been the smartest person on the planet, but as far as I was concerned, I was fine.
Well, anytime that she sees a behavior that mimics in the classroom something that you are doing,
she'd be paranoid.
She's going to think, well, maybe there's an association to that based on the fact that those children are needing her expertise. But if they display any behavior that is similar to yours, then that's going to throw a flag up.
Sure.
Well, fellas, I will tell you this much. Apparently, as you say, any behavior is enough to throw up some type of red flag.
Right. But I think the difference is, there's a continued behavior and there's behavior. Otherwise I would assume my kids are awful because there's a couple times they've been awful, but they're not. It's just a moment. You know what I mean? Isn't that just being kids, though, at a certain point? Like, all kids are going to be stupid sometimes. All kids are going to do dumb stuff sometimes. Anyways, fellas, before I go, I just want to say congratulations on show 4,000. I feel like I'm feeling a little bit older these days because I feel like I remember 1,000 and 2,000 and 3,000 and now 4,000. And I want to say I called in the other day before the call dropped, but I just want to say, like, maybe one of my best memories on the show was sitting around, and I remember it was the Friday after, Ted, you got back from that wedding and you were playing some Kenny Loggins, and that was the birth of Bad Choice Friday. I thought that was going to be the birth of Kenny Loggins Friday and give Ted a dang break from having to do that flipping Ted versus SEC, because that stresses me out too. So
I appreciate that, brother.
People are stressed on your behalf.
That's good.
I get stressed just reading the damn thing.
Like he said, he feels old. Yeah,
we do too, bro. We know.
School-wise, it was just about. I don't think the expectations were there for me on grades, but they were definitely there as far as my behavior in class, and that was more important than the grades I got when I brought my report card home.
And I believe that, and I've said that to the kids. Like, look, man, and I'm old enough to know this. Like, good grades is excellent. That's a wonderful attribute to have to carry with you. If that's not going to be the case, your behavior is going to take you a lot farther than your academia, right? Mm-hmm. We've worked with very smart people that were great at their job, but they were toxic, and now they're not here.
Well, I think you've said it too about your brother, right? Like, I think my brother definitely had a different set of expectations for his grades.
For sure. And the thing is, my brother he added up to him. The problem was, and you know this being the youngest, which is, well, no, because you got the sister in between, which helps your case. Correct. My brother, there's nothing in between. So all he got were A's. And he liked doing homework, right? That's the thing. Like, he actually enjoyed school. So it's not even just like he did well. He was excited to go. He would pop up in the morning. He would come home and would brag and be excited about his homework, all of which I found very alien. And I remember my brother getting torn a new ass because he'd gotten a C in English, right? But all his other grades are A's. And I remember my parents are just piling on him. By the time I got to high school, like I said, if I got a C, I got to go to Red Lobster. They were like, can you get something that is just 70 or above? And what pissed my parents off about me, they're like, you're just lazy. You're not stupid. I said, I know this. I know this to be true. And you got all the threats and you got in trouble. And it just, look, man, I always tested well, but I wasn't really going to do the work. You know what I mean? I'm like, I know the stuff. If they're going to give me a test, to me, that's what's important. And trust me, I've gotten a little wiser now. But I'm like, if the test is the thing and I do well on the test, why do you care? My father said, because if you were better at math, you understand that's not all of your grade. Mm-hmm. Dumbass. Yep. So get on this.
And I would say, too, I thought, like obviously grades are important. But you're right, behavior is a massive part. But, like, high school got much more serious.
It does. Because now you're getting close to closing time.
And I do remember being grounded, but, it wasn't the worst thing to be in my room. If I had to be in my room,
that was the thing.
I had stuff. I had books to read. I had
my posters, my music.
I had my tape recorder. I had all the things that I could occupy my time with. And
I
now,
spent all of my time in my room anyway.
Right. My kids are on their phone. They were on and that was one of the debates, to be honest with you. When is the appropriate age to let your kids have a cell phone? And it was more like, well, man, Janie's got a phone. Well, I don't care what Janie.
Yes, I've already been through that. Yes.
Exactly. And eventually, they get a phone. And obviously, one of the stories, they say that Meta and other powerful social media companies are facing parts of a sweeping class action lawsuit after failing to convince a federal judge to throw out all the claims that they're liable for the harmful effects of their apps on young users. Hundreds of plaintiffs claim that Meta, Google, other knowingly designed their apps to be addictive to children, accusing the companies of making it impossible for parents to ensure that their children avoid harmful or dangerous content. Now, we did not
wait
have
until
that.
They discover breakfast cereal.
We did not have that growing up, but back to television, back to movies. So there was a Reddit discussion that says, what TV show were you not allowed to watch growing up for some ridiculous reason?
I'm trying to think if my parents ever put the kibosh. I don't think my parents put the kibosh in it. Because, one, you have an earlier bedtime, right? And we only had 3 networks back then. So whatever was on network TV up until 9:30, 10 o'clock, probably still cool with the kids. It's like when primetime starts on a Friday. Most of the shows are kid-friendly kind of thing. So they had no problem watching it. And granted, they'd watch like All in the Family and the Jeffersons when the N-bomb was dropped religiously.
Yep.
No problem with that. When some crap like Dynasty came on, they didn't want me to watch it.
Because it was boobs.
But it's not even hell.
And they wanted to watch
cleavage.
Yeah. Benny Hill on PBS had boobs.
They never said a word about Benny Hill.
You could be on PBS
at 7:30. But you know what happened? So Benny Hill, and for a lot of us, that was our first introduction to boobies. All right, and we're maybe 10, 11 years old when it first kind of hit. And so all of the boys, at least at school, we were talking about it. It's definitely middle school. We would always talk about it, and it was on 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And it was a dumbass show. It's 30 minutes. My parents knew I watched it, and they didn't care because it was just so slapstick and silly, right? But we talked about it a lot at school, and we talked about it in hushed tones. But I always remember our principal got wind that all the boys were watching Benny Hill. And we watched it because we wanted to see boobs. And Benny was great at supplying boobs. He single-handedly got that show put on later.
Right.
Like he went to the local,
the BBC or something?
Not the BBC. What's the one that showed it here?
PBS.
PBS, thank you. Jeez, it's totally escaped. He went to the local PBS affiliate, and he lobbied to put it on later because it's corrupting the kids. Anyway, it worked, and we lost our mind. And the mutiny against this guy was so bad at school. Like, we would not talk to him. We would not acknowledge him. We would not respect anything he asked us to do. And it was solidarity, man. I mean, talking every dude in the school, so maybe 400 kids. He could call us into an assembly. He would try to admonish it, and we would all get up and we'd walk out. And within about 2 months, they put it back on to 7:30.
And by the way,
things were cool again.
Family sat around in my house and watched Hee Haw every Saturday, Sunday
God
night.
Almighty, yeah.
That was all boobs. Every
joke was about boobs.
Had her boobs
Every
hanging
woman,
out.
yeah.
I mean,
that was okay.
That was family-friendly entertainment there. But here are some of the shows that people couldn't watch for various reasons growing up. I'll just give you some of these. We have Ren and Stimpy.
Yep. I watched it.
You couldn't watch it?
Couldn't watch it.
All right.
What was, do you know the reasoning?
I'm not entirely positive what it was, but I think it had something to do with the content. I don't know. I never saw the show. So
it was pretty good, Mike.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Really?
These are just what people are saying.
No, I believe that these things are true. I'm just wondering
that one just annoyed my dad, but he didn't keep us from watching it.
Okay.
South Park, I guess, based on content.
Sure.
And as you said, All in the Family, Sanford and Son, Jeffersons.
And South Park really got going when I was like in high school.
Yeah.
But I remember like one year I got the South Park, the CD with chocolate salty balls on it. And I mean, I just thought it was the greatest gift my parents could have given me.
Yeah.
And it kind of was.
This guy says, my parents were teachers, so I could not watch Welcome Back, Kotter because it presented an inappropriate representation of the teacher-student classroom relationship because Mr. Kotter
was cool
and was friends with his students. And they could confront him, talk to him about different social issues and everything
So they
else.
didn't want you to think you could talk to your teacher.
They didn't want to draw that line. Correct, exactly.
Damn.
Three's Company, because it was a jiggle show with too much sexual content.
That's all it was.
And also, the 3 roommates were living in sin.
Mm-hmm. Which was the whole point of the show, because he had to act like he was gay so that his landlord, who had a problem with that, was not worried about him living with 2. But they're not kidding. Every joke on that show had to do with sex.
Yeah. Speed Racer, because the storyline was disturbing. Oh, my parents were in on this. It was violent, and the artwork is poor, which I don't believe any...
Come on.
I think it's very...
You can't watch this because the artwork
It's very anime. It's the beginning of anime, really.
Pretty much.
To a large degree.
Did it cause seizures?
It did for a lot of people because of all the blinking lights.
Yeah,
that's how they found out.
Mm-hmm. So you couldn't watch it on Speed Racer?
Not for a while.
Really?
Not for a while.
I just didn't
used
like
to sneak it.
Because I just thought I just didn't enjoy it, but they didn't care.
To me, it was, I thought, like, because maybe I could not watch it, it was...
You like it more? Right.
Beavis and Butthead is on the list. Wizards. Wizards.
That was such a good show. But again, you could see Mike and I's age difference because I'm in high school when that's huge.
Right.
Wizards of Waverly Place because of witchcraft.
Come on, man.
Remember that show.
Look, here's the thing about witchcraft. There's always been my position on it. Even if it freaks you out and you are 100% determined that your kid is trying to be a witch or a warlock, you're fine.
Pokemon because of the devil.
Is
there a devil in Pokemon?
No.
Does one of the characters look devilish?
Okay.
Not that I can even think of. No.
X-Files, too scary. SNL, because it was past my bedtime, which makes no
That's
sense
fair.
because it's Saturday night.
Sure. Right.
I mean, a bedtime is Monday through Friday school days for me. I'm sorry.
It depends on the kid's age.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
true.
I told you, I remember like staying up and watching it with my mom once in a while, but as a kid, I couldn't fathom why church lady wasn't on every week.
Right.
Because I'd be like, where is the church lady? And I, like, now in retrospect, I remember them trying to explain to me, like, it's a different skit every week. But, like, you don't, as a kid, it's like, well, this is the show.
But this is right. That's the name of the show.
I was only allowed to stay up on Monday nights because at halftime of Monday Night Football, they would show all of the highlights. There was no real show that had highlights before, Howard would come on at halftime and
explain what happened.
And run down all 28 teams and the 14 games, or whatever the deal was.
Yeah.
You saw the highlights of games that, you didn't see. Let's see. A teams, Dukes of Hazzard, because they were too violent.
The A team.
I love both of those shows.
I mean, look, here's the thing about the A team. There was a lot of violence, but they made it a point to let you know that
They never
nobody
killed
died.
anybody, yeah.
They never
No.
got so, and even
They never shot anybody. They shot people with cabbage.
they shot them with cabbage on a reverse vacuum cleaner. I do remember one time they were doing like a car chase. The guys from the A team bumped this guy off of a bridge. The car goes over the bridge, smashes hood first, lands on, and keep in mind, it dropped like 200 feet, okay? So the camera stays on the car, it's completely flat. But to let you know that nobody died, you hear the voiceover from the actors. It'd be like, oh, Mike, you okay? Yeah, but it hurts. Like, sure, they survived that. That's what they did.
King of the Hill.
Bobby.
Oh, watch that.
Yeah,
That's such a good, like, learning show.
That's got to be just language, though. I mean, they still.
Damn it, Bobby.
Keep in mind, damn it's enough.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
You know,
WWF Wrestling.
Really?
What we know now is WWE Wrestling.
we did get a text that said that they weren't allowed to watch WWE because of the chance that they had a lingerie match. Still snuck around and watched it. Do not regret it.
Lingerie match. I'll be damned. All the Harry Potter, Halloween movies, and TV shows.
Yes, your kid's going to be a witch. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Steve, you're going to like this answer. The Cosby Show, because the family was black.
Oh, damn, for real? That's why they couldn't watch it?
We don't let that
Jeez, man.
TV.
Hey, man.
Wow. Listen, Billy, we know you find the show funny, but those N-bombs can't be on our TV.
They don't have family.
Black Doctor?
That dad doesn't really live at home.
A lawyer?
Yeah, right.
Come on.
What is going on?
I grew up with the Cosby shows.
Yeah, a lot of people did. Damn, man.
Benny Hill Show, Monty Python's Flying Circus. One person says, I couldn't watch MTV ever. Any of the shows, any of the videos. Married with Children and 2.5 Men. Our question, when you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Michael. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So it was kind of a little bit different because I more grew up with my grandparents, and they were worried about me becoming my dad.
What is it about your dad that they wanted you to avoid?
Well, you were living with them.
Exactly.
With the people that raised them, yeah. So what was their concern? What was it about your dad?
So when I was a child and my dad was starting to come around and everything, like just being born, like up until like maybe we'll say like 10 years ago, he was big into the drug game. I mean, selling, dealing, doing, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So me throughout the road and everything, I start figuring out some weed, figuring out what that is. And that's kind of what snowballed them into the big old worried factor.
Now,
So
do
did
you
they
think without their worry, you would have followed in your father's footsteps?
I probably not, because I've seen his examples and told myself always to try to do better.
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
Like, how did you do in school?
Oh, I still did crappy in school like he did. I still had issues. Yeah, that one was same old, just like him.
Was your
no
mom?
doubt I was my old man.
Was your mom in the picture?
Yes, little more than my father was.
Now, was this your grandparents? Was this your mom's parents or your dad's parents?
Dad's.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
the people that know him best.
Right. All right.
Yeah, he's like 50 now. They're in their 70s. I'm 20, so he was kind of growing up right around y'all's time, 70s and the 80s, and they actually had the same worries of drugs and what drugs were doing. My grandfather was super hard into that one on me, and my grandma was kind of the little bit more lenient one. So,
I mean, it makes sense. The 80s were a weird time for drugs, because especially late 70s, early 80s. Because when we were growing up, like Quaaludes, Black Beauties, all that. And then when they started flooding the streets with crack, which was their intent to do, right? That became prominent. Then you got the first lady speaking out against it. Then you started the DARE program. So the awareness of drugs.
This is your brain on drugs.
Right. I mean, you're talking like in Miami Vice had just hit, and every episode's about cocaine and murder. So drugs, like you were aware of drugs when you were a kid and you heard about drugs, but it's only something your parents may or may not have done, according to them, at a party with that weird uncle guy that you know down the street. Then, I mean, in like a 3-year period, every single day, the only thing they ever talked to you about drugs. Drugs.
And my parents,
but what's weird is then a lot of people wanted to try them.
My parents,
for sure. President Reagan basically went on TV and was like the best spokesperson for crack. Like, try it once.
But in my world,
okay.
we could. They knew we were going out and buying like 4 packs of Bartle and James wine coolers, or 2 liters of Sun Country wine coolers, or beer was. We drank beer because we thought drinking beer was cool. I don't necessarily think that it wasn't an acquired taste yet. I'd almost rather have the wine cooler back then, or the Zimas.
100%.
Or all those other things.
Because they went down easy, sure.
But I was busted a couple times, and that was frowned upon. But it wasn't anything like drugs. Marijuana was the same as meth, as fentanyl.
Absolutely.
Because they did not do drugs, and that was not part of their culture.
It's the gateway drug.
It's the gateway drug,
The
yes.
idea of, I could be busted with a pack of cigarettes, one of the most addictive drugs, ruin your life, man. You'll do that drug for the rest of your life if you get hooked on it. They didn't mind if they found a pack of cigarettes as much as if they knew that I smoked weed. My ass was grass, no pun intended. I would be grounded for months at a time. They just, that no means no. If I ever find any drugs on you whatsoever, you are not living here anymore. We're going to send you off to what they called Pruny Town. And there was a town called Pruny Town in West Virginia. And that's where the juvenile detention center was located.
Yeah.
So anytime you acted up, the threat was always, we're going to send you to Pruny Town. We're going to call the cops. They're going to come here, and you're out of here. And we're like, Pruny Town was like, where the boogeyman lives.
Yeah, it's the last place you want to go.
When you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? 206-803-ROCK.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Feeling overwhelmed and unsure what to do next? Look no further. The personal injury attorneys at Phillips Law Firm are here to help. Phillips Law Firm understands that accidents can turn your life upside down. That's why they're dedicated to fighting for the compensation you deserve and to making the process as stress-free as possible. Don't wait any longer. Call now, 1-800-JUSTICE, or visit justiceforyou.com.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Live day goes to prom night this Friday night, Snoqualmie Casino. We're going to see you for a night of fun going to the prom.
Yeah.
Every single thing will be live. all the commercials, all the music, everything you hear from the sound effects, the shows live on stage. You'll be a part of it with us playing a little Big Dummy.
Hell yeah, man.
We'll drink a toast with a shot of the day there together, I'm pretty sure as well. Maybe one or two of
You
those.
think we should do that?
I think we should do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not?
A little sit and spin action with the
Hadn't
barbershop
thought about
guys.
it.
It's going to be a great night. By the way, not sure how many tickets are left as of this point.
There were not a lot at the beginning of the week.
I know if you want to go, Castle told us to let people know that you need to get to KISW.com. Take care of that now because they're probably going to be sold out by the time we get there on stage. Doors open at 6. The show starts at 7. BJ and Miggs will do a couple hours. We'll come on and do the next couple.
We do the cleanup.
Yeah, exactly. And from what we understand, if you're wondering, show should be over somewhere around 11 o'clock.
Yeah, that's my guess.
On Friday night, and from there we'll hit the casino and have a little fun. All the details on Friday night as Live Day goes to prom night at KISW.com. On our question, when you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? 206-803-ROCK.
I'm going to hit a couple of texts here. It says, I was not allowed to hang my Black Sabbath tapestry because Ozzy worshipped the devil, which was really upsetting to me because we weren't even religious. Someone else says, oh man, where is it? As far as SpongeBob, we said, what is it about SpongeBob SquarePants that your parents would have a problem with you watching? And they say, SpongeBob is on that list because of all the sexual innuendo that they constantly had on there. One great time I remember they did an innuendo for a certain move that involves your fingers. So basically, they show a picture of SpongeBob with his one finger and a pink donut, and he's talking to Patrick, who had 2 fingers and a chocolate donut.
All right.
Right. And so his thing is, he's like, there's no way I got that as a kid, but the parents saw it and were like, no.
That's the issue I was going to say with SpongeBob is I like that SpongeBob has jokes in there that you can laugh at as an adult, but like kids don't get it.
There's a lot of things like Looney Tunes, too. Just a lot of racist stuff in the Looney Tunes. But as a kid...
good old days.
Back when you could just say it.
They did some revision.
We had to watch Looney Tunes.
They did some revisionist history on those and took a lot of that stuff
I know.
out.
They eliminated a lot.
Back when America had a sense of humor.
I would say the Looney Tunes stuff, that's probably a good call. But I will stand...
But it wasn't sexual.
Right,
that's
I
for
will
sure.
stand with the SpongeBob stuff, though, like... if you're not an adult, you're just not going to get it.
I mean, like I said, when I just read that guy's text, I'm like, if I saw that with my kid, I would be laughing. And I'd be very confident that he does not understand the innuendo they're trying to put on there. And if he did understand it, be like, I'm actually impressed.
It's like Shrek, right?
Right.
There's that famous scene where Lord Farquaad's in the bed. Yep. And he's like, show me the princess again. And he, in the mirror, so he could see her. And he obviously puts his hands underneath the blanket. But yeah, I had to watch that movie a bunch before I realized, like, oh man, look, he's about to.
The mirror even winces when he asks for it. He's like,
So, yeah, my parents worried about me because I listened to the band Yes. They heard that they had a, quote, cult following. Then I came home with Blue Oyster Cult. I like this one. It says, it's because I had long hair and listened to glam rock. My father shed a tear when he caught me with a girl at 16.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, my God. This one.
I would also say my brother listened to all that stuff. That was a confusing time for me.
It was.
Because you're starting to get into, like, figure out if you like men or women or whatever. And, like, a lot of those dudes look like hot chicks.
So you liked Bret Michaels, didn't you?
Yeah, all that spandex and like, they're wearing, like, platform shoes. They all have blonde hair. It's like, Jesus.
I remember the big thing in school when Poison released their first album, right? We had not heard any songs from them, but we saw an image of them. And maybe 2 days after the image came out, like, all these guys got together real serious. Dude, they're all dudes. We're like, man, that's not dudes. They're all dudes. And we're staring at this like, oh, that's a bad sign. How many of you already touched yourselves looking at this? Like this one, I wasn't allowed to watch anything my mother didn't want to watch, like cartoons or 90210, but Dynasty and Dallas, they were okay. But my favorite is probably this one. My parents would not let me watch Barney because they thought it would make me stupid. You kind of can't argue with that.
Okay. When you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? 206-803-ROCK.
I know I can't love. Hello, Aaron. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So when I was a kid and into my teenage years, I would go in the summers with my dad and stepmom outside of Houston, Texas. And basically everything that I got away with my mom in Missouri was not allowed in Texas.
So what kinds of things?
They were very like Southern mega church goers, like involved in the church. Harry Potter, rap music, not allowed out. It was not fun. But these people were kind of crazy. Like, they took me to, like, legit exorcisms with them. And I would sit in the living room while they were like in the bedroom, like doing their spiritual thing.
They would take you to an exorcism, but you couldn't listen to hip hop. That's what I'm understanding.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, I remember my stepmom walked in while I was watching MTV and Nelly was on. He flipped, turned the TV off, gave me a stern talk. Not fun at all. And like after the exorcisms, we would come home. They would like pray over my doorway, like do whatever to like keep the evil spirits away from me. Like,
are they still? Is your dad still that religious?
Oh, no. My stepmom left him, and he is like turned back to his old ways. Like,
okay,
biker affiliations, and yeah.
How hot was that stepmom?
Oh my God, she was redhead. She was so smart.
There's a reason that he stopped his lifestyle.
As soon as she left, he's done with them. You know what? No more
I think that's why my parents were so much into me. I was so defiant about church. I just, everything about it, it was just too much for me.
Right.
It was too long. We would go to Sunday school in the morning. And Sunday school was a half an hour, or sometimes it was an hour. And then you had to sit through the full service, which was another hour. And you had to sit there and you had to be quiet. And so it was a 2-hour event on Sunday. All I cared about was playing with my friends on the weekend.
Yeah, it's a
watching
tough sell,
football.
man.
You had to rush home. Sometimes my stepfather like, we're going to get out of here because we got to make the kickoff for the Steeler game. But he was the only one who would press that. So
my dad was the same way, and it was like, you do not tell your mom.
Of course not.
But like, he was so scared of my mom, we wouldn't even always go home. We would just go somewhere he could bring me and sit down and watch the beginning of the Washington game.
So that she did not know that's
that we had skipped out of church.
But the whole idea was it was ruled by fear. Whether it was my parents, whether it was the church.
That's the whole thing.
And I just was defiant of that. I asked a lot of questions. At one point in time, because we just learned about dinosaurs in school, so I'm in Sunday school, and I asked about dinosaurs. Our Sunday school teacher about blew a lid. I said, "Where are the dinosaurs in the Bible?" That was my first, like Mitch Hedberg. You know, that was the questions that because the things that interested me, space, dinosaurs.
Right, they're not invested in that.
Correct. It had nothing to do with that. Like, it's impossible for the Earth to be created in 7 days. All these questions that I had a million of them because none of this made sense logically to me.
Sure.
I could not. So I'm asking because I need an answer. I need a logical answer that explains the situation because my brain can't comprehend it.
Right. What you're saying does not make sense to me based on the world that I live in.
Like that's it. That's
all.
Dude,
look, I've told you before. Like, I went to Catholic school. We always felt bad for those CCD kids because we knew they had to stay like another hour or two after church. And then, like, the only time we saw them was like at the Christmas bazaar or something. And
of course,
they were cooler than us because we didn't know them, and there was a couple girls in there. But I mean, I always felt awful for those kids. Like, geez, man, you got to sit here after church,
right?
And I went to so much. I was an altar boy. I still would be like, church is too long.
Not only that, but within the Christian religion, you know, every different, whether you are Baptist or whether you're Methodist or whether you're Catholic or Protestant, every Presbyterian, they all talk crap on each other.
Right.
So I can never figure. And that was another question I had. Like, my mom doesn't want me going to church with my friend because he is Presbyterian. So if I have to go there and they're going to church and they're going to drop me off, after the fact, they didn't want me going to that church.
Right.
And I'm just like, so I had those types of questions. Like, why is this church bad?
And it's like, we don't want to tell you.
This church is good. What is the reasoning behind this? And that was something that they did not want to answer.
You know why? Because the answer, honestly, we don't know. It's what we've been told, and so there's a reason why. I hate the Steelers because I like the Ravens.
You're just going to go and you're going to sit there and you're going to learn and you're going to be good and you're going to be quiet and you're going to do what we tell you.
Yeah,
that was basically you're living under my roof. These are the rules.
I got a text here, and this one I can respect a little bit. All right, it says, growing up, my parents worried that I would not go anywhere in life because, according to them and the school system, I was mentally disabled. I have ADHD and dyslexia. So these were challenging to overcome, but it pushed me. And now I say, suck it, because I have a family, a house, and I'm in charge of an entire department of my work. So yeah,
nice.
Suck it. And I do remember the kids in school we had one kid who had like the sun allergy, like that 1 in 10 million freaking people that's allergic to the sun. But you already felt bad for the kid because when recess came up, depending on the day, he couldn't go outside. Or if it was going to be something where everyone's going to go outside, his mom would show up. And this kid's mortified to see his mother, but we knew like 2-3 times a week, she showed up with whatever kind of white cream you kind of have to put.
Yeah, like a zinc thing.
And would just slather this poor kid and then put the hat on. And at that age, because we're not quite getting it when he says, I'm allergic to the sun. We're like, it's got to be something else, bro. It doesn't make sense. But this kid would be mortified. And then as I got older, you realize a kid would be diabetic, right? Mom has to show up all the time. But kids just hated it, but they just doted and worried, and I completely understand. But at the time, you're like, I am so glad I'm not you, man.
Yeah. I was terrified of getting in a fight every day. But bullying was not an issue then. It really, like, even when you went to school, that was not something that my parents were concerned about. They're like, yeah, it's part of growing up.
Yeah, they're like, deal with it.
It still happens.
It does. It absolutely
It's never going to leave. I mean, like a couple of years ago, it was like a massive thing, bullying. Like, have you been to a workplace?
Ever. I mean, I get the online thing. That's a little different. That's 10,000 people. But at least when we were in school, like, you kind of had your class assigned bully. And as long as you went to school where this kid went to school, like, he was the one. And some years they liked you. Some years they didn't. But it's just how it went down.
And thank God with ADD and all those things, that's been brought a lot more into the forefront within the last 20 years.
You're starting to understand it.
My kids went through all kinds of different testing and things just to see, hey, what can we pinpoint? These are all very positive things as far as
doing the diagnosis,
helping someone you understand better, and it gives them a better path to be able to teach certain things.
But I think
for the kids to learn. So,
but I think that guy's point.
We didn't have that,
right? I think that's his point. Like Billy Bob Thornton put it best. He was on one of the late night shows a couple of years ago, and they're just talking about his success as an adult, how long he's been in the industry, and what were you like in school? He said, I was disruptive, couldn't really focus on stuff, blah, 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 blah. The host, and I can't remember which one it was, says, well, do you think that's a sign of, like, ADHD and all the other things we just rattled off? It goes, oh, well, I've been tested as an adult. It's exactly what it was. But when I was in school, they just called you an idiot. Yeah. And he was right. Like, you're just disruptive, you're a jackass, and you're stupid. That was the diagnosis. You suck.
Can't sit still.
Right.
When you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Mimi. Welcome to the men's room.
How's it going?
Hola. Mimi, that's a very cocky name. It's all about you.
Mimi, no, that's the French crema.
Is it
it's
French
actually
crema?
Maria, but I don't like my name, so my family calls me Mimi, so I go by Mimi.
Okay.
Because I don't look like a Maria. It's not very cocky. I just don't like my name.
Okay. So what did your parents worry about with you, Mimi?
They were very strict. They were very religious. My parents, 5 generations back, both sides of the family tree, all preachers, missionaries, ministers, and so it was crammed down my throat from birth until my dad stopped preaching it when I was about 9. And so they had very, very strict, very different sets of rules for my brothers and I. Curfew was 6 o'clock or dark, whichever came first. We were allowed 1/2 hour of TV or video game or computer per day if we were passing all of our classes on the weekdays. And then on the weekends, it was an hour and a half. And we didn't have cable. That wasn't, and we had to be PG or if it was anything above PG, my parents had to pre-approve it. And then I was allowed 4 5-minute phone calls to separate people per day. I couldn't be like 1 20-minute phone call. It had to be 4 separate phone calls.
What is that like for a teenage girl? Because, my daughter, when she talks to one friend, it's like 12 hours of conversation condensed into about 30 minutes. Because there's a lot of words being spoken.
Yeah, I literally was allowed. My mom would set the kitchen timer, and then for 5 minutes, and then she would pick up the other lines. It's 5 minutes. It's up. You need to hang up the phone now. I couldn't have like a 1 20-minute conversation and put my 20 minutes in one. It had to be all separate calls. And
that ticking drove me nuts, dude.
Could you call the same person back to continue like 5-minute increments, or it had to be different people?
It could be different. It could be increments, but it had to be like 10 minutes between calls. Because just in case somebody needed the line, because this was like during the dial-up days, so we weren't, so then when we used the internet, it was like 10 minutes at a time. We had to log in, and we were allowed 10 minutes of AOL dial-up.
If we got a phone call, it would just knock us off.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah. Mimi, what was what were your dating parameters as far as when were you able to go on a car date, or the first time you were able to have a boyfriend, or what were the rules there?
They didn't have the opportunity to really set those rules in place for me because I was such an awkward kid and teenager that there wasn't anybody trying to date me. Now, it's like if I wanted to go to the mall or out with friends, my parents had to speak to the parents of the person whose car I would be riding in prior to me being allowed to get into their car. So I couldn't be like a spontaneous trip to, Six Flags or something. They had to talk to their parents first, which was really frustrating because a lot of times I ended up not being allowed to go. Okay. And I had to call home every hour to check in. And my brother had to come home every hour to check in. And he couldn't just call and say, hey, I'm at Dustin's. He had to come home every hour. I could just call and say, I'm at Natalie's. And our little brother, he didn't have any rules whatsoever. But and I was allowed. My brother Steve was not allowed to listen to anything but Christian music. But I could blare Korn or whatever from my stereo. And we're only 16 days apart. He had to be up every morning with the bed made, dishwasher emptied, 7 a.m. I had to clear a path between my door and the closet so she could hang up my clothes. We had such drastically different sets of rules. It was crazy.
That is crazy. You talk about the mall now. I would save up all my money because the biggest mall in the area was in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. So about once a month, either with my friend's parents or my own parents, go to Century 3 Mall. They had everything there that a kid could ever want. They had 2 toy stores. They had all
was
these
it like KB and Toys R Us?
Yeah, but they had all the toys.
KB was always in the mall. I feel like Toys R Us were always standalones.
Generally, yeah.
That's why, you go to the mall and go to KB Toys, but
you knew it wasn't Toys R Us.
It wasn't Toys R Us.
This was the biggest arcade in the tri-state area. So all these things were at this mall. But when my mom and my stepfather would go to the mall, we would run, and they would say, okay, you have a watch on. We're going to meet in the circle of the mall in an hour and a half, or this time, or if we're going to watch a movie, after the movie's over, that's where you're going to meet. And my mom had all these rules as far as, okay, look, you can do this, 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 and this. If I catch you in Spencer's, which was the store that sold...
Oh, right.
But it had the posters.
I'm 13 years old. It had all the women in the bikinis. It had fun little sexual things in there, toy-wise, and just different things. Yeah. My mom said, if I walk by Spencer's and see you in there, you are going to go into the car in the parking lot, and you are going to sit there until we are done, and we don't know when we're going to be done. You can be there for 2 hours.
Right.
If you're in Spencer's, you're done for the day, period. That was her rule. And Spencer's was...
It was fun. They had the posters.
Lava lamps, and, it wasn't...
I love Spencer's. In fact, any poster I had that had scantily clad women, because they never had nude women, they just had scantily clad.
Correct.
100% of them came from Spencer's.
But they had, sexual handcuffs or tickle feathers or just... It wasn't the worst stuff in the world.
It really wasn't.
It wasn't.
I can't remember why.
Maybe dirty board games or card games.
They had a lot of those.
I just remember the posters. And I would...
Yes.
I feel like I would get caught constantly in there.
Were you not allowed in there?
I don't know if it was much as that, or I think I was just at that age where you're kind of embarrassed.
Okay, you're right.
So I feel like my mom would always just kind of walk in and be like, looking at the poster. So I'm like, oh, no.
But the thing is, I'd always
right, obviously, I'd probably have been staring at one bikini photo for 10 minutes.
But I like the fact that they rolled the posters up, and I appreciate the fact that my parents never asked me what it was a poster of. But I know damn well that as soon as I put it up in my room and left, they walked into my room to see what it was a poster of. And only one time did my mother get pissed off. And I had Farrah Fawcett, I had Heather Thomas, and a full bikini, and then some random model. It wasn't anyone you knew, but this random brunette. And she's wearing a blue one-piece lingerie, and her boobs are kind of spilling out. But you don't even see areola. It's just a lot of cleavage. Yeah. And I even took the time, I had a Hammerjacks sticker. Hammerjacks was a major rock club in Baltimore at the time. But a Hammerjacks bumper sticker over where her cleavage was, right? My mother still made me take it down. Like you censored it. Yeah, and I was like, so one time we really got into it. So I said, wait a minute. Farrah Fawcett's cool, and her nipples are in 3D in spite of it not being a 3D poster. Heather Thomas is in a complete bikini. The same as wearing bra and underwear, right? This woman's in a one-piece, and her boobs weren't even showing it was cleavage. I put the Hammerjacks in there because I thought it had a cool effect. Mm-hmm. That's the one you want me to take down. Yes. And I said, would you be happier if I just left her cleavage out? And she said yes. And I said, why? She said, because now it looks bad. Right. She goes, she wasn't top, but the fact that you put this over it, now every time I look at it, I feel like she's topless. So
draws more attention.
And that really was not my goal. I decided I had a cool look. But I took down the poster. I went back to Spencer's about a month later and rebought the exact same poster, put it back up in there. No problem.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
Don't forget the secret word is coming up at 4:20 for your chance to win Green Day tickets. Exactly. Why do I tell you that? To remind myself. And more of the calls coming up on our question. When you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? 206-803-ROCK.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fixed 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
Ah, the satisfying sounds of more sales in your business. And from the sound of it, your business is growing. But you shouldn't have to pay more to scale your business. With Stamps.com, you can import orders from wherever you sell online, find the lowest rates with the fastest delivery times, and instantly deliver tracking updates to your customers and stock up on supplies. Get started at Stamps.com today with code PROGRAM for a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Return to Who Sucks Less coming up after emails on our question, when you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
How's it going, guys? Okay, so when I was a kid, pretty sure my parents were terrified that I was going to drown, because I've always had an obsession or affinity for the ocean and love of water and poor risk analysis. And ever since I could barely walk as a toddler, I toddled right off the dock at Salties and almost drowned. And then they fished me out of there, and pretty much my entire childhood was spent on a leash from then on, at least anytime I was near water.
Yeah. Were you a pretty good swimmer?
You know, I am now, but I probably wasn't at the time. But, yeah, right after that happened, they started, signing me up for all the classes. And so I'm a very confident swimmer now. And I never grew out of it. I still do the exact same thing.
Yeah. They just walk off the edge of the pier directly into the water.
Oh, yeah. I love taking a dip,
Oh, my parents, they would just sit there and watch me just gently stroll down the beach. I normally would take my boogie board.
Right.
And they would go, just wait and see how long it takes them to figure out where we're sitting, because the current will take you down. I was a very competent swimmer, but when you're in the ocean, that's a different story. But at the same time, they just kind of let you do your thing. And you spend all day either in the pool or at the beach.
Yeah, I do it with my kids now. We were in Mexico, and they had no concept of the current. So to them, they're going in and out at the same point, right? My wife was sitting in one place. We're drinking beer. We're eating oysters. I said, I'll get them when I see them panic a little, right? So they're playing for about an hour. So they've made it 50 yards down the beach, have no concept. And when they turn around, they fully expect to see where we're sitting. And then you could see just their body language. I said, I'll go get them now. But it's a good teaching moment. Yeah. So I jogged down there. I'm like, hey, guys. Like, where'd you go? I said, no. I did not go anywhere. You guys. So I explained the current, and after that, they got the hang of it and kind of enjoyed it.
Yep.
We'll see.
Not only that, I was going to say, like, growing up, going to Ocean City, Maryland, like, those beaches are just so crowded.
They're packed.
Like, trying to find the people you're sitting with.
My grandfather would always stand. He'd walk down and secretly put his hand up, so I knew where to go and I knew where to walk back. But like dangerous elements, like today, there were 3 attack dogs. No matter where I went, where I walked around my neighborhood,
always
you would. These days, you would confront those neighbors and say, "Hey, man, your dog's trying to bite my child, or it's attacking other kids, or whatever the deal is. Could you put the dog on a leash or anything?" That was never a concern. No. Like the dog's mean, stay away from it. Like that's how I get to school.
That's what my parents would tell me.
Yeah, that's how I get to school.
Like, I didn't go somewhere I don't go. Right. I'm saying between point A and point B, and you knew who the dogs were, right? Like you said, they're never
stand up to the dog.
That's what my dad's now. To be fair, my dad had never met a dog he's scared of, but he did not realize that that gene doesn't carry over to you when you're 8 years old. This is a grown-ass man, and he even said he overcame his fear of dogs. He used to deliver papers when he was like 17 in Houston, and he'd roll up a newspaper and clobber the dog if it got near him. I'm like, okay, well, one, I don't carry newspapers on me, and it's just me and my bike, and you're a grown-ass man, and half of these dogs are that's like a Doberman, you're almost eye to eye with it.
Right, yep. One of the texts says, my mom worried when I brought home a Marilyn Manson album. She said he's a devil worshiper. I was shocked when she said that I thought that it wasn't an ugly lady. But either way, Marilyn Manson does show up on the list of the bands that have basically been banned by the church.
Okay.
So he's number one on the list. So Marilyn Manson's number one.
You mean Paul from the Wonder Years?
Right, yes.
That was a popular one, and he took out one of his ribs so he could
fit in the corset or whatever the hell it was.
Oh, I thought it was to service himself.
Right. The Beatles on the list as well, because at the time, people said that they were bigger than Jesus.
Yeah.
And that freaked the church out.
That wasn't people, it was John Lennon.
Yeah. Slayer shows up on the list.
Well, I mean, look, if you don't know anything about Slayer, based on their album names and covers, you'd be like, okay, maybe that's not the band for us.
Mm-hmm. Behemoth. That's another band.
Behemoth.
Do
I know anything from them?
2007, they ripped up a Bible on stage. I think that took them to the next. Lamb of God is on the list.
I thought it was a dish she preferred.
That have been banned by the church. Black Sabbath, for obvious reasons on that.
I better be some good lamb if you're calling it the Lamb of God.
Yes.
The Everly Brothers.
The Everly Brothers. I hope you just banned them because they suck.
Wake Up Little Susie was about waking up little Susie.
Okay, all right.
Girlfriend, boyfriend kind of a story. So that was about the two.
Would you rather we do it when she's asleep?
The song is actually about two teens who did not have sex, which is strange.
Wait, they did not have
They did not have sex, but it was just the idea that they wanted
to have sex.
Oh, it was.
It's called being a teen.
Right. Cradle of Filth. I don't know if I'm familiar.
I know them a little bit.
They have Jesus as a C shirt, I guess, that they sell.
Wow.
Yeah,
not going to work.
Sepultura. Rotting Christ is another one of the bands that.
It's right there in the name.
Yeah. Our question: when you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello. Guess who it is, Ted?
James.
James. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So you guys were just talking about this, about like that 1 in a million people that are allergic to the sun.
Yeah.
That's me.
Oh, no, man.
You're living in the right spot, brother.
That's for sure. Did you have to get laughed at up all, like, what was it like for you in school?
Well, inside, it was great.
Well, sure, but I mean, like when recess came up or something like that.
So it didn't actually, it was like one of those like vampire movies and the werewolves where on their 13th birthday, you will transform into, it happened just like that. We were camping with my dad and my brother when I was 13, and I was out in the sun all day and woke up the next morning in hives everywhere.
And I'm guessing no one really pieced it together until you went to a hospital?
No, well, see, my parents were kind of anti-hospital thing is that, you had to pay money. And so my dad just basically slapped some icy hot on me and said I'd be fine. And on the ride home, I was basically itching, and my mom got the calamine lotion and all of that stuff. And my mom just sits there and tells me, you have it too. And I said, oh okay. I have what? And he said, well, you have a heat allergy, which is technically you're allergic to the sun.
Huh. And you said this hit you at 13?
13 years old. It's when it started. Basically, I turned into a werewolf. Cool people turn into werewolves. I got a heat allergy.
So you there's no way you could go on a beach vacation or anything like that?
So over the years, I've been trying to figure this out. Mexico, can't do it. My wife actually went to Vietnam last year, and I wanted to go with her, but it's like 90-something, 100-something degrees, and it's a different type of heat.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go with her because I would literally die. But Vegas in the wintertime or springtime, I can manage it. But in the summertime, I would cook like a turkey.
So does everyone who lives there. You got to stay inside.
What if it's, so say you're planning a summer vacation, where would you likely go for a summer vacation?
Besides Alaska.
Right.
Besides Alaska. Actually, I would have to say, because I used to live in San Jose, California for a few years.
Okay.
They have some of the, different seasons and stuff like that, and it doesn't really get too hot there, as opposed to like LA, which is like the Southern California area. But I would basically vacation there because I know a lot of people. You can go to Vegas in 4 or 5 hours. You can go to LA in about the same time, or you can, be dumb and come back home and visit family for 6-7 hours. Yeah. So,
God, that sucks, man.
I'm sorry for you.
I mean, like,
even Alaska's sunny.
Yeah, let's look at sunny.
Right.
That's the thing. The kid I knew, I don't know if it was from birth, but I mean, we were maybe 8 years old when we met, and he was clearly deep into it, knew the routine. You saw his mom, and you knew the only reason she was there. The only time my mother came up to the school is if I was in trouble. So it was a much different thing. We saw his mom all the time. Saw my mom probably once a quarter.
School, here's one thing that inherently different from my children in their experience than mine. Growing up, I had a group of friends. They were the neighborhood friends. When we went on to high school together, we blended with a bunch of other different schools from the area, but we still had our friends. We made new friends.
Sure.
There was the occasional fight between a couple of guys or something like that. But for the most part, we just joked around. We had fun. We did things together. We ran as a group. We had group activities. Very little drama associated with anything that went on in my friend group. It was more about telling jokes, busting bees, all those types of things. Now, my daughters, and I don't know if it's the fact that they're daughters or it's the fact that it's high school or it's the fact that they're social media, but I'm telling you what, as far as just kind of like online bullying or just a group of girls will decide to kick one kid out or they'll say certain things, like, well, you shouldn't be friends with her anymore. And they gang up on each other. They talk crap on each other. They post stuff on social media about different people and pit everybody against their own friend group, which, my daughter had a very difficult time with that as far as like maybe she started going out with a boyfriend that some girl dated like in middle school or it was just stuff.
That's enough in high school.
Yeah, it's just whatever it was. But it got bad to the point where like she didn't want to go out. She didn't want to hang out with anybody. Right. And, it really upset her. At one point in time, my daughter was talking to her friends and the idea being that, like you said, Ted, she was just at that point. She's like, I'm attracted to girls. I'm attracted to boys. I would like to go out with girls. I would like to go out with boys. So all of her friends go around and say, my daughter's a lesbian. Okay, right, whatever, so what? But now she's not invited to sleepovers at people's homes.
Right.
Now she's not getting invited to birthday parties. Now it's not the kids, it's the parents.
For real?
That are making these rules. Oh, she can't come over and spend the night with you guys. You're sleeping in the same room downstairs in the basement, blah, 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 blah. She's not invited anymore. And that kind of stuff was the stuff where I wanted to go and drive my car to somebody's house and take an axe and kill somebody.
Right.
I was ready. I was absolutely ready to go knock somebody out.
No, it still goes on.
Because I can tell how hurt my kids were,
Yeah, my daughter's starting to get into that. Probably started about last year. I think she's only been the victim of that kind of thing once, but it's almost like playing tag. If someone else goes down in flames, it was temporary. I know that my son, on her behalf, corrected a situation for her, and she has not had an issue with that person again. And my son's very tight-lipped about what went down, but I'm like, whatever you did, good. They're going to mess with you, mess with them back, man. Go Sean Connery on her ass, the tenfold response, right?
The only
do that.
Yeah, the only thing I kept telling my daughter, I'm like, look, this is high school. You will be done with this very soon. You're going to move on in life. Yes, you'll have some of those same friends, but you're going to get a bunch of new friends, and you're going to have a different life, and you're going to be someplace else, and you're going to make new friends, enjoy yourself, and all that stuff is going to seem so irrelevant.
You're right. It's just you have to go
But in the moment.
Right. In the moment.
Right, and their hormones are going nuts. Like we say all the time, like high school is just a tough time.
It's a tough
Boys,
time.
girls, whoever.
And the truth is, and it's not that it matters, but I know this to be true. All of this is stupid.
Yeah.
Every second of this dumbass crap. Don't even sweat it. But I know you're going to sweat it, so, we'll work with you together to try to figure this out. But just trust me that on the other side, it'd be like getting successful surgery, but at the moment you're talking to them, you're telling them, we're about to cut you open.
This is what
we're going to pull your heart out of your chest. We're going to operate it separately. We're going to cut it back in. And at the end you go, but you'll be okay. And off you go.
Yep.
All right, look, I'll still do it as an adult.
What's that?
I don't know, you say something, maybe a joke didn't land correctly or whatever. Like, I'll feel terrible about it. My buddy be like, I don't care. Like, it was 2 days ago.
Right.
But you're right. Like, to me, it's still a big deal. And he's like, just let it go.
When you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Alex. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, not something my dad kind of worried about, but something he suspected. He was really cool. He always told me when I was in high school, look, I know you're going to do dope. I know you're going to smoke weed. Just do it in the house. Don't go out. You get in trouble. So I had a lot of friends who would come over. And I had a best friend who would stay the night 4 or 5 nights at a time. And my dad would just hear his giggling from the room and eating. And he was convinced for about 4 years that I was gay with my best friend. And so 4 years after our friendship, I bring my girlfriend over at the time, who's now been my wife for over 10 years. And he meets her, and he kept looking at me weird. And my girlfriend leaves, and my dad asked me, "So are you bi or what?" And I just remember looking at him confused, being like, "What?" And he brought up my friend, and I was like, "Oh no, we just do drugs here. We don't do any of that."
Dad, I learned it from you.
Yeah, exactly. I learned from watching you. And so he told that story to my friend, and my friend actually turned out to be bi, which is, we're very supportive. But my dad would start, go out of his way to be like, "I'm okay with gay people." And I was like, "That's cool. Me too." Good for you. So,
to give your dad credit, if he thought you guys were in there hooking it up and he still let you, that is a good sign.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look, I don't care. I'm just curious because now you brought this girl over and it threw me for a loop.
Strangely enough, that was not a thing growing up. I mean, we knew, we had an idea of certain people that we knew and certain friends, but that didn't stop us from being friends, and that wasn't something that was even. It wasn't even. I don't know. It wasn't a thing.
We had a gay uncle, and the thing is, everyone knew he was gay, and this was only about 20 years ago now. This guy is my father's age, so he's in his 70s now, and he did this big family meeting, and we're all getting worried because he's a man of few words, and he sits us down, and he has this real serious look, and he's like, I hope this doesn't upset anyone. You're probably talking about 15 family members deep. And I'm younger at this time, so he goes through this big, long, dramatic thing, and in the end, he's like, I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm gay. We all looked at each other like, yeah, we know, man.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
so what?
Nobody can. We know you're gay. You've been living in a one-bedroom apartment with the same guy, Bruce, for like 35 years, man. What did you think we thought?
You have one bed.
Yeah, like my mother was irritated with him. Just like, are you
all that for this?
All that. Everyone's worried about you. And it's like saying, this is my son, Steve, and he's tall.
I thought you were going to say, like, I have cancer or something.
Actually, I just read, I was a Barry Manilow, right? So Barry Manilow, he did an interview recently, and he said, man, I didn't come out of the closet until I was 72. I'm like, I thought it's just because you figured everyone knew. Like, you're Barry Manilow. I mean, again, you're kind of like, we know,
if Richard
man.
Simmons were to make an announcement, no one would be shocked. Whatever sexuality he is. But if he said, hey, I'm heterosexual, I think I'd be more shocked.
That would be stunning to
That
me.
would be shocking.
Right.
I think it's still tough for kids in high school, though.
Sure, because you're in high school.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, especially like my high school was all guys. It's like the NFL. But nobody, like, obviously, I know I have gay friends that I don't talk, but like nobody was.
Can't say anything.
Oh,
Right.
Nobody was about to say it then.
Yeah. When you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Jake. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, how you doing?
Hola.
Hola. Hey, yeah. So my mom, her cousin got ran over by riding his bike when she was a young kid, and so I couldn't ride my bike out of the driveway. I couldn't ride my bike like regular kids, to school or whatever.
Did you have sidewalks or anything?
No, there was no sidewalk, so it was just like I just didn't ride my bike.
How bad did that suck, man? If all of your friends, one of the greatest things in childhood, some of my favorite moments were just, you had no plan, but everyone just kind of showed up at one kid's house. We're all on our bikes, and that was the plan.
But you could get out of the perimeter of your neighborhood on a bike.
Right.
You know your neighborhood when you're exploring.
Well, that's the thing is I didn't really live in the neighborhood, I lived out in Woodinville on a couple acres, and so I had a really long driveway, but the streets, there was no sidewalks.
Yeah, we didn't have sidewalks either.
Dude, that sucks, man. You know what I mean? Like, especially when every other kid is doing it. And I mean, you're talking about a physical activity. So it's not like getting a cell phone and all that, but it's, the occasional parent where we'd get the Nerf football. You got enough neighborhood kids around where we're going to play football, which is always one of the most exciting things. And you're trying to get your one buddy, and the parents are just like, no, John can't join you. Like, dude, we're playing Nerf football. We are all his friends. You know, what do you think's going to happen? And they just, no. And what sucked is the one kind of open field that we could effectively play football bordered this kid's house. And we genuinely liked this kid, but his parents were super duper strict. And so he could not come out and play football with us. But one of these horrifying images I still have in my head is you just look up at his bedroom window and his face is just pressing, dude, seriously. And it's like, but that was the field. There was his house. And it's like, we're not trying to rub this in, man. Just your crappy parents happen to buy the house next to the
Looking
field.
back, honest to God, if I analyzed everything from my youth, the most dangerous thing that I did the entire time was play football. From the time that I was in third grade, we played contact sports. Back then, you lowered your head. The goal was to get as much paint and as much different colors from the other team on your helmet to get as dirty as you possibly could, to do Oklahoma drills, to do drills where you're running at each other from 10 yards out and just knocking the hell out of each other. Everybody put their head down. Everybody just
put the crown of your helmet, the center of his chest.
And it wasn't a very good helmet. All these things.
Sure. We used to play tackle football all the time just on recess. They'd stop us. Then we'd start playing again.
They would stop it?
They would. Like, when we got to, 7th, 8th grade, they would stop us sometimes.
7th, 8th, maybe.
You're only supposed to be playing touch, but we didn't care.
I did touch him. I touched him very hard.
Yeah.
Who Sucks Less is coming up, and we've got your emails on the way next from the men's room at KISW.com.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Feeling overwhelmed and unsure what to do next? Look no further. The personal injury attorneys at Phillips Law Firm are here to help. Phillips Law Firm understands that accidents can turn your life upside down. That's why they're dedicated to fighting for the compensation you deserve and to making the process as stress-free as possible. Don't wait any longer. Call now, 1-800-JUSTICE, or visit justiceforyou.com.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
Deep underground, the Jelly Belly factory, Bibi is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I've done it again!
Is it pomegranate or old bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough?
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh! What time is it?
I knew you were about to
Son of a bitch.
About to forget.
Oh, you were all trying to distract me with your interesting conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Things. Turns out that I remember. Green Day tickets. Your chance to win is right now. You want to text the word TIME. TIME is in TIME. To 206-803-ROCK for your chance to win Green Day tickets as Green Day's coming to town next year. September 23rd, along with the Smashing Pumpkins and Rancid at T-Mobile Park. Text the word TIME to 206-803-ROCK.
Be careful, Montgomery.
What's that?
You've been on it the last couple of days, so you're not setting yourself up for missing a lot of stuff Friday night.
Or that. Or the fact that I'll miss it tomorrow and still be only 50%.
Right.
Because I missed it on Monday. I said, if I get 50%, that's all I need. So I'm so far so good.
So far so good.
Unless I lose tomorrow.
Correct.
But I'll still get the word out eventually.
But no, it'll always happen. Just maybe not on time.
Not at the right time.
So call you the Mariners.
The word is
54%.
Wow. The word is time. Text that now to 206-803-ROCK.
Right,
okay,
sorry.
do we have time for a few emails from the men's room at KISW.com? Couple from today on the question, when you were a kid, why or what did your parents worry about with you? Guys, I had to live with my dad and stepmom in Idaho for about a year and a half, and they got into the Seventh-day Adventist Church. The last year and a half, they put me in a school run by the church. Not allowed to read certain books like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, C.S. Lewis. Couldn't listen to rock music. Had to do weird ritual things. No Christmas. My dad thought I would be like my mom and her side of the family. They were fun. He wasn't. I went back to live with my mom after that. What are the Seventh-day? Is that like the Jehovah's Witnesses, or is that?
I feel like they're kind of in the same realm. Don't quote me on any of this.
Quote Mike.
No Christmas, so
yeah.
If you're Jehovah's Witness, you don't celebrate any holidays.
Any holidays, right?
Because it's Jesus' birthday, therefore it's not your birthday. You don't.
I gotcha. Okay, all right.
Okay, that's the general spin.
Okay, yep.
Right. So you might
don't
celebrate
open your
Christmas.
friends' gifts.
You might celebrate Christmas and celebrate the birth of Jesus and celebrate all this, but I don't think there's any presents involved or anything like that.
All right.
Guys, the only thing that my parents worried about while I was growing up was the cops. My dad was a former county sheriff who left the department because his coworkers were ethically challenged, and he called him out on it. That did not sit well with them, and the folks were worried they'd target me to get to him, which they did, but they never got me. Mom and Dad never worried about keggers, speeding, drugs, anything else when they gave me the warning talk. Boy, was college fun. Rock on, sister friends. That from Scott. As we move on to the birthday request, guys, I'd like to wish my twins, Savannah and Sierra, a very happy 17th birthday. Can we get a double L hitting the window? Coach Ted telling them how to survive these rib tattoos they are getting this weekend. Are they old enough to get the dirty Germans? No. They're 17.
No, you need to find Kip Winger.
Yeah. Thanks, gentlemen. Rock on from the worst parents ever, Kimber and Chase. You can get a tattoo now when you're, I guess, 17 with the...
If you have parental consent, I believe 16 and up. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a tough one for old coach here. My instinct is say, girls, I don't know if you want to do it, only because they're 17, so I'm not going to use the term, but it used to be popular on Coach's Day for women to get tattoos on their lower back. They're not so cool anymore. I still like them, but a lot of people don't.
It's because you're seeing them.
You know what I would say the major difference is with this? I understand it's fashionable. A tramp stamp's a tramp stamp. It just is what it is. It's a design. It's just where you placed it.
Yeah.
Typically, and I do not know this to be true of them, you're getting some kind of script written.
That's what I assume.
And look, man, I know you mean it at 17. And unless it's like your name and maybe your family history or something like. Sometimes the things that you really, 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 really love now, you know, when you're 34, just 17 more years of your life, it's going to be the worst thing you've ever put on your body.
Now, if you want to know how to deal with the pain, I have no idea. Never had a tattoo in my life. But, you know, maybe I'll get one this weekend.
Oh, man, I can tell you that. I got tattoos on both sides of my ribs. And girls, don't let this freak you out. I have a lot of tattoos on my body. The 2 times I've been in the most pain as far as getting a tattoo.
That's what my daughter said. She
my
said
ribs.
Screaming.
And there's nothing you can do. It just hurts.
I mean, if I were to do that I get like a Brian Bosworth Stone Cold tattoo. I mean, does that age well?
Boz forever.
Actually,
now that he's back with Dr. Pepper,
I watched a little of that movie the other night, and it is amazingly fantastic.
Stone Cold.
Yes.
Stone Cold.
Yes.
You were first of all, why did you even really
and watch Stone Cold? Because it was on like TV Land or some weird.
I've never seen it.
I swear to God. I swear to God.
The History Channel?
It has so many great moments in it. You're like, this is fantastic. You can't believe that he didn't become an action hero. After
You know what? I will give it a shot. And before Christmas, I will give it a shot.
I'm telling you, man. I was like, the boss is the man. Like, I wasn't wrong back in the day. Like, this guy kicks ass.
And you're the first person, and I mean this honestly, that movie probably came out, 35, 40 years ago?
Yeah.
You're the first person to give it a glowing review.
I cannot believe that Barry Switzer didn't make a cameo.
Is that the one where he's undercover?
I mean,
I think he's a
out
cop, right?
Yeah, he's pretty blatant about his activities as far as blowing people up and doing cheesy one-liners. And it's kind of like, chewing bubble gum. And, it's one of those type of movies where
you're undercover in spite of the fact that you're the least subtle person on earth.
The dialogue is amazing.
Oh, yeah, he was a cop.
All right. What's the plot? Does it say what the plot is?
Sure, Joe Huff is a tough Alabama cop who's frustrated with the system that handles criminals with kid gloves currently. Joe is suspended for displaying excessive violence towards criminals.
Mm-hmm.
After stopping a supermarket robbery, Joe is summoned by the FBI agent Cunningham, who proceeds to blackmail him into going undercover.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Brian Bosworth at the time,
he
very
was
subtle.
fighting the bad guys and the feds that were after him. Not the feds.
He has to deal with both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that Brian Bosworth, man.
He's on an island.
That's a lot to deal with.
It's just him.
I will say this. I watch a lot of shows on like true crime.
Yeah.
Like especially any type of organization. Almost all the undercover cops that ever get involved with, like, say, a biker club, they blur that line bad.
But you have to.
I know you do, but it seems like that one, they're always like, all right, we got to get him out. Like, the mafia guys don't seem like they try to whack anybody.
Right. Yeah. Guys, Ola Picholo's been listening for years, man. I just want to say thanks for all you do. You can turn any day into a good day. I appreciate that. Anyway, today is my 23rd year around the Flaming Ball. Or as my sister put it, I'm already halfway to 46.
I like his little emoji thing he put after that.
So can I get a fish sandwich, some Thrill Shotgun Gets, and the Dirty Germans being, well, the Dirty Germans. Thanks, guys. That from Dylan.
Can I buy you a fish sandwich?
Get. Yeah, listen, for your birthday, this is the moment that you can get back at your sister. So tonight, you find yourself two 23-year-olds, and you let her know, I want the full 46.
Yeah. Also, I think you have sex with a woman, and then from far away, you do your finishing move called the jump shot.
No.
It's the Jordan. It's a Michael guy. He wore 23.
I like to do the slam dunk.
All of Men's Room, shout out from San Juan Island, Irie. I want to wish a happy birthday to my brother from another mother, Mr. Wyatt Earp, turning 29. Thank him for all the great experiences. Yeah, we've had growing up together on this little island. Always makes my life more enjoyable, so I love you, buddy. Let's give him a big old bong rip, and Coach Ted giving him advice on what to do with the last year of his 20s. Thank you, guys. Appreciated that from the Dirty D.
I say you go absolutely ape-ass, man. Why not? You're 29. You could still use the excuse of in my 20s. Start planning a big 30th birthday. Do something crazy. But other than that, you demand it this year. You're the king of that island. You're the king of San Juan Island.
And the salsa. Or you're the king of the salsa.
That San Juan salsa is delicious.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Dip responsibly. And also, if you're up in that area up north by their factory, just drive by and give it a whiff.
It smells that good.
It is unreal. When Mike and I went up there like a year or two ago, like as soon as we got in the car, we're like, Jesus, this place smells.
Because most places that do any kind of food or beverage, so to speak,
right,
smell
stink
worse. Like hell.
Correct. But you got to keep in mind, this is just fresh fruits.
I know,
or fresh
but the sriracha plants run people out of California. They used to have a chocolate factory in Fremont, but when they're making the chocolate, it smells like ass.
Right.
Before that, they had beer there, Red Hook. It smells like ass when they're brewing it. The good things don't smell good in the process.
But somehow San Juan, right? Because like you said, fresh vegetables, and that's basically all you're working with. I don't even like vegetables, but the smell is pretty good.
You smell like you just stuck your face into a bowl of tomatoes. It smells
it wasn't even walking in there. We got out of the car and we're just like, damn.
Guys, could you please help me wish a happy 36th birthday to my husband? Oh, I like these two emails, by the way. My husband, Johnny. Some advice from Coach Ted would be good. Maybe a fart. We love you guys so much. He listens to every show. Thanks, guys. That from Liz, Crash, and from Dagger.
He just needs advice in general?
Yeah, I mean, just...
How old is he, 29?
Just from some advice on 36.
All right. 36 is kind of a weird age. You're still mid-30s. You're not staring down that barrel that is 40, having to make those decisions.
You're right, Ted.
Yeah, fine. No, 36 is a fun year. You're still young enough and everything. I would say, you know what? Enjoy waking up without a crink in your neck.
Okay. So that was a 36th birthday to my husband, Johnny. Here's the next one. Jack's today. He is truly your biggest Kenyan fan. This past weekend, I took him to Portland for a birthday surprise. Always wanted to go to a strip club, but had never been. We had way too much fun, way too much to drink, spent way too much money, but it was so worth it to watch it through his eyes as he took it all in. Happy birthday, babe. You deserve the best. Yes, even the replacement phone we had to buy you on the way home. Can we get a pad? Say, Jack, she wants a D, some turtle sex, and the dirty Germans talking about delicious Kenyan sausage. Thanks, guys. Rock on. Much love. That from Tara.
She wants a D, and she's going to get one.
Yeah, being the dirty German I am, I've some of the sausage of many different countries, and I agree, it's a Kenyan sausage. Not just delicious, but so big.
Yeah, it's the funny thing.
So big.
It's the funny thing is, so unlike our sausage in Germany, a lot less fat.
But y'all, says my boyfriend Rory's fourth decade. He's the silly to my goose and love of my life. Nice. Being with him has changed my outlook on life, and he's the biggest Star Wars fan I know. How about a Leroy Jenkins and a Rhino fart along with a Pat Sajak? Thanks, guys. That from Leslie in Stillicum.
Let's do this. Leroy
Oh, yeah. From the front, mama.
Shout out from Black Rob to Leroy. Happy 41st. I've known this SOB since third grade. Love you, my brother, from another mother. How about a fish sandwich and your penis is too small? Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Too hard to get a fish sandwich.
And good afternoon, guys. Wondering if you might be able to give my friend Pat in Lake Stevens a fish sandwich and whatever else you might like. I believe he's 43. Appreciate your show on the daily.
A
Rock on, guys.
Fish sandwich.
That's from Josh.
Chestnut.
All right, guys, here we go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday.
Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty German is brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers.
Whoops.
Schweinefleisch.
Wow.
Now, the men's room wants to know who sucks last.
Hey, time for Who Sucks Last. Stephen Thrill Hill, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck. It's up to us to determine out of the 3 stories which one sucks the least. Now, if you happen to follow KISW on Facebook, Instagram, on Twitter, the debate already underway on Who Sucks Last.
Yes, indeed. And for time purposes, I'm going to try to fly through these stories as best I can. Story number 1, we go to Idaho Falls. Can you guess what state, Ted?
Idaho.
Bam! Got it.
Let's go.
A 22-year-old woman, she was arrested in Idaho Falls after police said they found her baby covered in feces in a cold car with a dog and a sex offender. I want to point out the sex offender is the one responsible person in this story. That's the sad thing. So Natalie Marie Folk, she was arrested for investigation of felony injury to a child, misdemeanor possession of a controlled substance, and misdemeanor use or possession. Long story short, she also had drugs on her. Now, police officers, they were called to a Walmart for a disturbance near the gardening section. When they arrived, the caller was the man in the car, the sex offender. He's the guy that called the cops. They found him and her 10-month-old daughter. Now, the man says he had borrowed the car from a friend in a different city, and the 3 of them had driven to Idaho Falls for the Walmart. According to the man, Folk was heavily intoxicated and causing a disturbance. An officer said they noticed Folk was staggering when she walked, had glassy, bloodshot eyes, and her speech was, quote, heavily slurred. It should also be noted she fell to the ground a couple of times while leaning against the car for support. Now, officers then saw her baby in a rear-facing child seat and a back seat on the passenger side. The window on the back passenger door was missing, and a garbage bag had been taped in its place. The reason it matters, it was below 40 degrees that night. Now, the baby reportedly shared the back seat with a medium-sized dog, which officers say was around 50 pounds. The dogs on the other side of the back seat didn't cause any problems, but the inside of the car was also full of items such as alcoholic beverages, vapes, and knives. So an officer states in court documents that Folk was not in the state to be a caretaker due to her heightened emotion and inebriation. Now, her plan, according to her, was for the baby to sleep through the cold night in the car seat without proper insulation or protection. They would just have the dog in there along with her to prevent anything from happening. As you might imagine, officers removed the baby due to her imminent well-being and take her to a law enforcement building. The good news is the baby itself is in good physical health, but when they picked the baby up, completely saturated in her own urine and feces and had been left in a diaper, as they say, for a substantial amount of time, to the point that the car seat was also completely saturated with urine and feces.
Oh, my God.
If you're a parent, you understand how long that is. So another officer arrived to the K-9 unit to find out if there were drugs in the car, and she said, there's drugs in the car, they're just not hers. Turns out they didn't believe her, but they did find out some weed, some crushed up pills, etc., etc. She was then taken to jail where she's being booked on $25,000 bond. So in a nutshell, that's her story. Now we go to China, where a woman was recently charged with fraud for cheating 3 men out of nearly $100,000. The caveat is she did this by marrying them in staged ceremonies despite already being married. The 35-year-old woman was already married, raising a daughter, when she started dating other men with the specific purpose of defrauding them. Now, it's unclear what drove the woman to a life of constant pretending, because apparently her husband owns his own business, the family's in a good financial situation. But one thing is for sure, he didn't pay a whole lot of attention to his wife, so what did she do? She juggled 3 other husbands. So she started looking for prospective husbands a few years ago, and her good looks quickly caught the eye of 3 men who'd never suspected her true intentions. She dated all of them at the same time, managed to spend time with all of them without raising suspicion of her real husband before then asking them to marry her. Now, because registering the marriages to her marks would have revealed the fact that she was already married, she used the lie to bypass the civil proceedings. She told the men that her house had been illegally demolished and she needed to remain single in order to be eligible for compensation. That's the sell. In reality, she only cared about the wedding ceremonies because she wanted to collect the gifts and the money from the people that showed up. She went to great lengths to ensure that the weddings went through without a hitch. She hired actors to act as her friends and family during the festivities, and apparently no one suspected a thing. She even paid many of the actors to come visit her and her fake husbands over the years just to maintain appearances. Then she convinced one of the husbands that she was pregnant with twins and she needed more money. And then she hired another actor to play the doctor that had delivered the twins. At this point, she said she delivered them, but that husband became suspicious when the doctor couldn't answer certain questions, could not produce the babies, and that's when her thing fell apart. As getting it done.
That's a lot.
And then finally, we have a freaky dude back here in the States. A man who engaged in sex with animals inside of a school's milking shed hadn't slept for 5 days after smoking crystal meth when he was caught by officers. 44-year-old George Danakis, he was spotted by police sexually engaging with a male sheep. As Mike pointed out in the article, while a female goat was observed to be in a state of shock behind them.
Well, that's bad.
Being caught with his pants down, quite literally, he told police that he was in the shed looking for his phone and he lowered his pants to urinate. Anyway, after he was caught, he did plead guilty to damaging property, bestiality, possessing bestiality material, etc., etc. The court was told he had then been recorded herding goats into a gated area. A week later, he spotted on camera walking around the same shed naked from the waist down. Now, the man's lawyer claims that his use of methamphetamine leading up to his arrest, combined with his affinity for enjoying sheep on the side, that is a quote from the lawyer, led to a state of mind in which he did what he did. And it turns out they absolutely agreed and said, but it's still illegal. So he
okay,
was
lamb chop is a sick mother. I think Idaho Falls is the worst with the baby in the car. I'm going to go China. Today.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, China, she's going to win this one. Like, that's not a great story.
No.
But at least, like, there's no kids getting injured. There's no sheep getting...
Easy now.
I know, sorry. And, like, man, part of me is almost depressed by this woman. Like, hiring actors and everything. I feel bad for those dudes.
Years later, to hire the same actors, come visit me and my husband, act like old friends. I mean, think about it.
She put in a lot of work for this scheme.
She really did, man.
Debate continues if you follow KISW on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram on Who Sucks Less. Shot of the Day's coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. but I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fixed 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
Deep underground, the Jelly Belly factory, Bibi is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I've done it again!
Is it pomegranate or old bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough?
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, Dakota, here in just minutes. We will drink and toast for the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check-in with Mike Hogg and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. According to a new study, the average American spends 300 hours a year cleaning their home.
That sounds about right, man.
Unless they're married, in which case that goes up to 500.
Not part of the study, just personal experience.
I'm just going to throw that out there. Which is not a bad thing at all. I am very glad that my wife has boosted my cleaning regimen.
Yeah, I'm pretty much, I'm a fairly clean dude when it comes to the house. Just because in my mind, I pay to be here. It is my biggest single investment. Can we just keep this one thing clean? By the way, the kids respond with, not really.
Right. And I'll fully admit, I am a nesting individual. I will sit there and there will become a nest of beer cans, wrappers, and packaging and everything around whatever chair I particularly love to sit in. Tends to stick there, in my opinion. I'm sure my wife would disagree, but I do need to clean up more.
I'm only one beer can at a time, man.
Yeah.
Every time my whole thing, when you get up to get another beer, because I'm going to get up to get another beer, drop this one in recycling, open the fridge, grab another.
That's not a bad
So
call.
I might wake up the next morning to the last beer I drank, but
Sure.
it's always one for one.
Look, my place is not that big, but earlier this year, Mike was over and we got all fired up watching the Seahawks. I filled up my little Playmate cooler and brought out the recycling to the living room.
Great.
I was like, Mike, we're going to stop making these 10 stacks.
But there's the thing. At least you brought the recycling out. Like, let's keep the table clean, right?
Sure.
Yeah, you're right. For some reason, if I'm watching sports, I will almost always get up and throw away the can.
I always do.
It's like if I'm just sitting around being lazy, having a couple beers during the week, where I'm like the next morning, I'm like, why did I leave these out?
Yeah, I would just a can for a can, because my whole thing is that's all you have to do to earn another beer is get rid of the empty one.
My biggest bellyache is when I don't clean the kitchen night of. Because you're tired, you've eaten, you just want to go to bed. Like, it makes full sense to not do the kitchen night of. Dishes are infinitely more difficult to do if they've had a day to sit.
We had people over Monday for my daughter's official birthday, and big spaghetti and meatballs kind of freaking thing going on.
But girl,
there were a ton of dishes. I washed every single one of them. Well, people were still there. That way you're engaged in conversation, just having fun. And one of the women that was there said, I feel like I should help you. I said, you help me by cleaning your plate, by eating it. I just don't like to wake up to this. That's all. It's worth the sacrifice tonight.
And the greatest one I ever saw was a Thanksgiving. And I like this guy, right? But it was the first time I had hung out with him. He's older than I am. And it was Thanksgiving at somebody else's house. There's all these dishes. And he's like, I've got the dishes. But he said it like 10 times. And then he was like, I'm just going to have one more glass of wine, maybe smoke a little weed. He never did them. No. And I was like, damn, that was smooth. Before I knew it, we were doing them.
If you have people over, I really do think the coronet is the best way to go on
If
Thanksgiving.
You can, man, yeah.
I know it's a lot of trash.
Hang on. What's coronet?
The
Or
big,
that-
thick paper
They're
plates.
more
Oh,
oval. Sometimes they have sectioned out areas. It's kind of perfect for Thanksgiving dinner.
Hell yeah, dude.
As far as not doing dishes.
That is good. No matter what, you have dishes.
Because
So at least it's
your plate, standard plate that you have in your house, not big enough for Thanksgiving dinner.
That'd be a great idea, Miles, except for, we brought out the doggone fine china every doggone year for Thanksgiving.
the one time you use that crap
Yeah.
that takes up space.
No,
That's one thing my wife and I agreed on. I'm like, plates.
How old is your
our
china?
freaking plates. That's
right.
what you're going to get.
Is it hand-me-down stuff?
No.
Is it brand new?
I'm talking growing up. Like this was a wedding
gotcha.
gift from my parents.
Gotcha.
That stuff sat in the doggone china hutch forever and only came out during Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Oh, that's the way my mom was, dude. Like, we had all this. A lot
Can't
of
wash
space
it right
taken.
either.
Don't touch it. Don't look at it. I'm like, why do we own this?
Because it comes from China. Like everything else in the house.
I'm like, so does my
I would say,
shirt.
and it's funny, is I use paper plates, but I would think
phone.
Thanksgiving's the one day I use real plates just because you got to cut up turkey.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's a good call.
You get
Good
that
call.
scraping on the plate, too.
Yes, like if I'm going to use real plates, it depends on
What
the
am I
meal.
eating?
Yeah. Like if
Don't need it for ribs, but if you're going to cut hard into stuff, that's a good call.
Crock pot of breast. You won't need to use it for it.
Oh, good call.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Ooh,
Speaking of which, Taco Bell.
I like that idea.
Taco Bell's about to drop grilled cheese nacho fries.
Grilled cheese.
I think they already have.
Is there, I don't understand, like how,
I don't know.
what's the
Ted.
difference between that and cheese fry?
I don't know, man.
Sorry, I'm just
Alright,
like, come
just
on, Taco
bread.
Bell, I love you.
They're hot. They're hot on the grilled cheese right now. Like they're doing a lot of stuff with grilled cheese. They're just grilling cheese on top of burritos right now. It's like not inside. It's just laid over the outside. For whatever reason, it works.
It does. But I feel like most people have been doing that themselves forever.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, when it comes to cheese, man, I'm going to put cheese any place that cheese can go.
And I don't want the cheese to be, shredded. I want it to be melted over the top.
Right. Melted is more important. I
So-
don't care what you did. If it's melted,
Right.
I'm money.
Exactly. As long as it just drips over those nachos, I'm happy to go. A new survey found that more than half of men are okay with women going topless in public.
That is a shocking development.
I am not.
Why were we asked to do this study?
Yeah, right?
You mean us specifically?
Like, take us out there. Okay, we have two scenarios that we're going to put you in. This scenario first is got a controlled situation where women are have their tops on when they're out in public. This situation, they're topless. Which one do you like better? Like, I want to be a part of that stuff.
You know, you did make the comment earlier, and this was all fair to me. It depends where you are. And it was years ago, I think it was the Wynn down in Vegas. It was Castle's wedding, 15 years ago, whatever.
Wynn's nice.
But me and our buddy Batman, who we reference on the show, we got word that there was a topless pool on the other side of this little partition. So we looked at our wives and said, we're going to the topless side. They said, go have fun. I swear to God, we were there 2 minutes, came back, and like, why are you back? I said, it's not anyone you want to see.
It's not fun.
I'd still rather see bad boobs on the street than no boobs.
You know what,
Ted, man, you weren't there, bro. I'm telling you.
not a
Remember
terrible
something
call.
about Mary?
Yeah.
Remember that one scene that
The older lady lived upstairs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Still
was like,
better than no boobs. At least today on the way to work, I saw a boob.
did you see a boob?
Well, no, I'm saying
you say
this-
theoretical.
in my
Right,
new
yeah.
free world.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, now, but think about
Summertime in
it.
Seattle, Ted comes in sometimes with boobs.
You know who we'd see topless based on where we were.
Oh, the troll under the bridge.
That is correct. You still support that? This is a woman.
I'd have to see him. Who knows?
I'm not going to say no.
She, again, oddly confident.
Very confident.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we've gotten close a couple times.
Yeah. So it's, I wish I had the confidence that woman has.
I will say, we've probably seen worse.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Even in person. You're like, damn.
I've been to Burning Man. I've seen worse.
Oh, no.
Really, that's a good stock.
I think the hardest time I've ever had in my life is having a conversation with somebody, and this woman, I don't know if they were fake or just really good fake.
They were just happy to see you.
They were just unbelievable. And she's just in a zip down, like onesie, and she's just chatting away. There's plenty of nudity there. Like, at first, it took me a little tough. It was a little hard to get used to. But by this point, I've been there a week. I'm used to it. But these things were amazing. And when she finally gets up and walks away, I look at my buddy and I go, I mean, that obviously was distracting. He's like, I know. That's why I'm wearing shades. I just haven't kept look down.
Right.
Just like Spencer's.
There's no doubt in this room that everybody here is old. We're all over the age
Thanks.
of 30.
I don't know if you are, Mike.
I'm old.
Nice
Ted.
try.
Dude, I've had the mental
You're
age
not
of
in our
old
club yet.
forever.
You're not in our club.
I've already got a hitch in my neck. Like you mentioned that earlier, Ted. I've been dealing with a neck problem for a minute here. But anyway, we got a list of things that we should all have by this time.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 obvious things all men should have by age 30. Sure, you might think it's independent housing or losing your virginity. You would be wrong. You should already be stockpiling a stable of fine libations for your own enjoyment. Invest in your future like I have, with 95 bottles of whiskey and counting. Winning.
I want to go there, man.
Yeah, his cheapest one, he said, is what? Johnny Walker Black Label.
Right.
For our 4,000 show, he gave us Yukon Jack Apple.
Yeah.
I've drank a lot of trash in my life. I really have, man. Either out of desperation.
Because you won't taste the good stuff, man.
I don't care, whatever. This was the worst thing I have drank in a long time.
You should keep 4 of those minis in your car in case you ever run out of gas.
No kidding, dude. No kidding. That's tough as straight battery.
Because you can
acid.
pour the mini through the little slot in the gas.
Yeah.
They might actually take those to Mars to refuel the rocket for its trip back.
Let's see here. Obvious things that all men should have by age 30.
Herpes.
Personal hygiene, actually. Plain and simple, a man with poor hygiene habits that are of his own doing is a no-go for many women. Simple hygiene like deodorant, regular teeth brushing, regular showers, and clean clothing is a must if you're going to date or be in committed relationships. So this is actually some tips for y'all that are over the age of 30.
That's a life tip.
Yeah, you don't do that to attract women. Just do that because you should.
Just do it, right. Confidence and self-esteem. Says a man in his 30s should have a healthy self-image or at least be working towards being confident in who he is and in his own abilities.
Yeah, because
I like the idea of self-image. You might be wrong,
right,
but at least be confident in how crappy you are.
That's right. We're all working towards something.
You are fugly. No one's interested, but be confident.
Yeah.
Nevertheless.
Meaningful relationships. He doesn't necessarily need to be in a long-term relationship, but he should have a few close friends and hopefully strong familial bonds at this point. Strong relationships are built on trust, respect, and effective communication. I feel like we've all got at least one good friend.
Sure. Yeah, hope.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like dogs. When somebody's like, I have absolutely no friends, I'm like, something's up.
Sure. Sure.
And people are like, I don't like dogs. I'm like, something's up.
What's going on with you?
Unless you say I've been mauled by 7 different dogs.
Right. If you got bit by a child, you don't have a nose. Get it.
You were not bitten by a child. You were bitten by a dog.
As a child.
Bitten by a child.
Now you're doing dog counseling. I was a puppy and a kid bit me, man. I hate them.
Emotional intelligence. A man in his 30s who hasn't become or isn't aware of his emotions is a time bomb waiting to happen, said one woman. A man in his 30s should have strong interpersonal skills, empathy, and the ability to navigate emotions effectively.
Agreed.
In other words, just knowing a lot of people that are talking to you.
Pretty much. And it can be difficult, and it's scary to go to those places, but whatever it takes for you to go into those dark recesses, that's right.
It will catch up with you.
Exactly. It's luggage that you're carrying. You might as well know what's inside there so that you know what it is that it's going to do.
It's not a bad call, man. I used to run from my problems all the time. Then I ended up homeless. And then I might come to Jesus moment with myself.
Sure.
Whatever's going on, effing deal with it.
Now you just have
and
a drinking
my life
problem.
has been, now I just have a drinking problem. But to be fair, Mike, I had a drinking problem long before I ended up homeless. That's the one thing I've carried with me.
Obvious things that all men should have by the age of 30. Basic home maintenance skills. A man doesn't need to know how to build a house, but proficiency with certain tasks like unclogging a toilet, hanging pictures, building simple purchased items is a must to many women. And it's also just nice to have.
You did not know how to unclog a toilet. There's a plunger.
Some people, Ted.
If you don't know to unclog a toilet,
I've got a snake, too.
Take my daughter for like 2 weeks. Cool. You will learn.
You will find.
Yeah, you will learn quickly.
Cooking skills. If a man in his 30s still relies on takeout food and leftovers every night, it shows that they never learned how to cook for themselves or truly understand the value of money.
The flip side tells me, or they made a lot of money. Man, it's so nice when you get takeout.
Sure, but also cooking can be fun. I love cooking
can be
with my
fun.
wife.
That's the one time the family, because like I said, with no microwave, it's no matter what, even if you want chicken nuggets, it ain't going to take a hot minute.
Absolutely.
And everyone gets together and we do this thing. And
just have a couple dishes in the pocket, man. Just have a couple dishes.
I would recommend everyone, man. Come up with 4 dishes. One that you could definitely do for breakfast that's not traditional. 2 that you could do for dinner, and something to whip up for lunch.
Healthy lifestyle. Exercise and diet may be 2 of the most important skills for someone to learn. A regular exercise routine and conscious dietary habits show a man that knows what's important in his life.
Yeah.
You don't overeat, though, is the problem.
No, I don't overeat. I don't. But when you say healthy lifestyle,
you
it's
eat like
not
a gerbil.
eating. Eating is not part of my problem. It's drugs and booze, man.
But then the number one obvious thing that all men should have by the age of 30, especially in this doggone economy, financial literacy. Several women have stated that it's a huge turnoff to date men who don't have even a basic understanding of personal finance. This includes how to budget, save, and invest.
Also say this on the flip side, debt.
No kidding.
You can call that out, but if you got a bunch of debt, you're out.
Yep.
And let's try to buy a house.
I don't care if you're a man, woman. If you got a bunch of debt, you're out.
But they set you up. I did not want debt, so I was responsible. Then when I went to buy a house, the one thing they told me
You don't
was,
have any debt.
So right, and therefore, from the bank's point of view, in spite of your age, you're what they call a debt liability. And I said, I don't get it. They said, well, you haven't proven that you can pay off debt. And I said, I have because I don't have debt.
Right.
So I had to go into debt for them to be comfortable. But I'm like, that is so ass backward. But if that's the game you want to play,
it's not always attainable, but solvency is a good thing to work forward.
Yeah.
Sure.
A man in Tennessee was arrested for having a little too much holiday cheer, Miles.
Why was that?
Give you all the details at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming up at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
If you're a business owner, you know these sounds mean sales. And from the sound of it, your business is growing. Whether you're fulfilling orders from your home office or warehouse, Stamps.com helps you stress less about mailing and shipping and spend more time doing what you love most. Listening to ASMR. I mean, growing your business. But as you grow, so does the need for efficiency. Stamps.com simplifies your shipping and mailing process. Import orders from wherever you sell online. Find the lowest rates with the fastest delivery times. Instantly deliver tracking updates to your customers. And buy shipping and mailing supplies when you run low. Save time and money on mailing and shipping. Get started at Stamps.com today with code PROGRAM for a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1, exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
Company Manager Drinking Time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized.
So proud.
And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
What time it is? As usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we toast 22-year-old Detroit Lions receiver Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
Oh. See, Ted, you're already there. Now, look, I don't know a lot about this guy. I do know this. That a little backstory. He played college football at Ohio State, transferred to Alabama. That tells you that he's probably a quality player. He was named an All-American. He was selected by the Lions in the first round of just last year's draft. And so far this season, he's been averaging 11.1 yards a catch, which is not bad. Only has one TD. And just as a quick side note, he didn't catch anything against the Ravens. But I digress. But here's the thing. This guy has been a pretty solid player for the Detroit Lions, but people took to social media to demand that he be traded. They said, man, we cannot tolerate certain behaviors of him. So you're wondering, what did he do? And when it comes to professional sports, there's a myriad of horrible things that some of these guys get away with. In his case, he was dumb enough to go on social media. And we always say, like, look, man, if you rob a bank, don't throw the cash up in the air and say, I dare you to catch me. If you have illegal guns, don't show your cash of illegal guns and say, I dare you to catch me. Well, in this case, he went to McDonald's, Ted, and ordered a McDouble and an Oreo McFlurry. I have no problem with that. But then on video, he removed the top bun from the burger, and he put a glob of his McFlurry on it. Ooh. I cannot make sense of that myself.
Until you taste it.
But then he had the nerve to post this insanity to his Instagram story. And after that, most of the responses were, up until this point, I've enjoyed his hard work, getting back into the fold. With that said, trade him now. And now there's this...
It's a hot topic in the sports world that he put that McFlurry on the burger.
And people are like, trade his ass. We cannot deal with him on this team. Quick side note, I'm not a fan of this, but a lot of people like to dip their fries in their Frosty from Wendy's.
Yeah.
I've always hated that. I think it's revolting and disgusting. Is this much different than that?
Thank you.
Well, it's the hot and the cold.
Okay.
I guess it's salty, sweet.
Right. No, I get you.
But I'm with you. I never really got into the dipping the fries in the Frosty.
Yeah.
Well, so we can't knock it till we try it.
But this guy, he upped it because it was an Oreo, but I love it. Trade him now. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes a story a story.
By the way, Mike, I appreciate you called him a culinary monster.
A culinary monster. Wow. Hello, Anthony. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Like that?
Hola.
Hola. All right, Anthony, you understand how this here game is played.
Sure do.
All right. Then today you have your choice of one of three stories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally today, Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem.
I'm going to go Bite Me.
What was it?
Bite Me.
Just eat it. Get
All right, here is your story. We go to South Korea, where an 82-year-old man had a heart attack at a restaurant. Now, the heart attack, that was just the insult to injury, as he'd already been choking on a piece of food when he went into cardiac arrest. So rescue crews were called by restaurant staff after the man started choking on his food. It had become lodged in his throat, and Heimlich had failed on several occasions. To the authorities' credit, they got to the restaurant in very short order. He's still choking, but when they got to the site, that's when the man started having a heart attack. Now, they administered CPR, and unfortunately, the story does not indicate if the guy survived or not. That I do not know. All they will say is that the food lodged in his throat is what led to the heart attack itself. So the question is, what was the food he was choking on? And again, this is a restaurant, not at home. Did he choke on live octopus, a rice ball, a scorpion, or a giant soybean? So live octopus, rice, scorpion, or giant soybean. One of these things he choked on, which led to his heart attack.
Now, you said they couldn't get it out with the Heimlich.
They couldn't get it out with the Heimlich. I don't know what the emergency services did. All they said was that they showed up, did CPR, and they don't indicate if he survived or not.
I'm sorry, what was the second choice? Live octopus, second?
Rice ball.
Rice ball, gotcha.
Rice ball. You know, your nickname.
Yeah.
I'm thinking octopus here because, those little suction cups, man, might have, sucked onto his throat or something, and that's why it wouldn't come out. I don't know if any
that
of
would
those
make
other
sense.
things would stick. So I think that's what I'm going to go with, man.
Where did I say it was?
Yeah.
South Korea.
That's a giant soybean, my friend.
Giant soybean for Ted. Anthony goes live octopus. I'll split the difference and go. I'll go rice ball. Why not? What was this guy choking on? Live octopus, a rice ball, a scorpion, or a soybean? We'll find out next.
And 1 second, give it.
That was a tease.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Feeling overwhelmed and unsure what to do next? Look no further. The personal injury attorneys at Phillips Law Firm are here to help. Phillips Law Firm understands that accidents can turn your life upside down. That's why they're dedicated to fighting for the compensation you deserve and to making the process as stress-free as possible. Don't wait any longer. Call now, 1-800-JUSTICE, or visit justiceforyou.com.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Which categories by me on profile? Let's get a man in South Korea who was choking on food, then went into cardiac arrest. The food was lodged in his throat. They tried to get it out with a Heimlich. Then he had a heart attack, and I believe he did pass on.
You do think he did?
Yeah,
okay.
Yep.
All right.
Question is, did he swallow a live octopus, a rice ball, a scorpion, or a soybean?
And Anthony, that is the very question we posed to you. Let us start with Miles Montgomery. You went with a rice ball.
Big old sticky rice ball.
Big old sticky rice
Sticky
ball.
rice.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Sticky rice, man. The Ted Smith. You went with the giant soybean.
Soybean.
Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know if soybeans can get giant. I don't know.
Is that completely made up?
I mean, soybeans exist. They don't get that big, so I just put...
Oh, you've never had giant edamame?
No, I've never had the
Me
giant,
neither,
but
no.
they bring one to your table and it serves everyone.
One ball, one
and,
mom.
Anthony, you went octopus. You are correct.
There we go.
Here's the thing about live octopus. So it's called live octopus, but it is not alive. The problem is it's only recently deceased, right? Basically, they kill it when you order it, but the nerve endings still work.
Yeah, so it still wiggles.
Right. So when he popped the tentacle in, and apparently he had scarfed down like 7 of the 8 tentacles you could eat. It was the 8th one. The nerves fired up, man, stuck to the side of his throat, and they just go in defense mode. That's what your nerves know to do, right? Couldn't get it out.
Damn. Now for all TV news all the time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
You got the Jimmys?
Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel.
Seth Meyers.
Okay.
Or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It is right there. The title. All these guys have talented teams of writers help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joking from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
O.J. Simpson is in the news again after he appeared on a podcast and bragged about having relationships with college girls. So it appears that he is again killing it.
The Ted Smith.
Yeah, Ted Smith.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. God, I hate that dude, man.
I know. Pepsi's on track to surpass Coca-Cola as the big ass. Big ass. As the big ass soda company. As the biggest U.S. beverage company. That's all thanks to Pepsi's strategy to release a new Mountain Dew flavor every hour.
Seth Meyers.
Fallon.
Fallon.
Pepsi is on track to surpass Coca-Cola as the biggest U.S. beverage company. Apparently, it's all thanks to Pepsi's strategy of releasing a new Mountain Dew flavor every hour.
He's not wrong.
And some of them only get released to Taco Bell.
Oh, really? Just talk about the exclusive, get it here.
I would say talk to a teenager. They will tell you. Yeah,
You know, you're right.
Also,
That's who would know.
like Gordon Ramsay. He has his own line of dinners.
Mountain Dews?
No, dinners.
Oh.
But you can only get them at Walmart. They look delicious.
Okay,
But you have to go to a Walmart to buy the damn things.
There's a lot of stuff Walmart gets only. Last time I was in a Walmart, I was like, holy cow, Twix makes a coffee creamer?
Really?
Or like it's already a coffee. Yeah. Go to Walmart, man. It's wild. It's wild.
Like you can get all the Taco Bell sauces and whatnot there, dude.
New Garth Brooks.
Oh, yeah.
Can I order them online?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. A couple in Florida was allegedly caught fully nude having sex on a causeway. So I had to look that up. A causeway is a road or a track on top of an embankment.
Okay, that could be the Ted Smith because we had that conversation
We did yesterday.
Fallon. Kimmel.
Myers.
A couple was arrested in Florida last week after they were allegedly caught fully nude having sex on a causeway. So I had to look that up. And it turns out a causeway is a road or track at the top of an embankment.
Yeah, I think we talked about it on the air. Like, what is a causeway?
Yeah, we're like, what? I know it's on the side of a road.
And I only know it from Miami.
Yeah.
That's a good point, man.
It's like finding out a K is really a bay or an inlet. Depends on where you are, what they call it.
Listen, I got to finish this joke, but I'll send you down a weird one. Look up the difference between a peninsula and a isthmus.
Isthmus,
really?
yeah. Isthmus is what Mike Tyson celebrates December 25th.
And he listens to Kiss.
The Thanksgiving holiday is just around the corner. The TSA has announced it'll be the busiest travel holiday season ever. And in a classy move, Southwest cut right to the chase and just canceled all their flights.
Fallon.
Seth.
That's Fallon.
Well, listeners, ahead of Thanksgiving, the TSA just announced that they're predicting the busiest holiday travel season ever. Yeah. And this was a classy move. Southwest cut right to the chase and canceled all their flights.
Yeah, causeways, different bodies of water, peninsulas, isthmus. There's a bunch.
What is the difference between peninsula and we had to learn this in school, but I don't remember. I know a peninsula is surrounded on three sides.
Right.
And then an isthmus, I don't know if I remember this right, is it connected to the mainland by a bridge or something like that?
Okay, an isthmus is a narrow strip of land bordered on both sides by water and connecting two larger land masses.
Okay, all right.
What's a fjord?
Ooh.
Hold on, because I know if you talk about Iceland and talk about fjords, is that a part of the landscape that's been dug out by a glacier?
Okay.
I'm asking.
Oh, you don't know? No, I'm asking. Damn it, man.
A fjord is a long, narrow sea inlet with steep sides or cliffs created by a glacier.
A peninsula.
It's
still a peninsula.
No,
a fjord is a water peninsula.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
How about a lock? Do you know what a lock is, Ted? Like you go to Loch Ness.
Well, it's in a canal, and then the locks, right, are what allow the water to raise and lower to get the boat through.
Loch, as in Loch Ness. So the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah, sure. That is a body of water surrounded by mountains.
It's disappointing. It's a lake.
It's a lake.
Literally, it's just a lake. Yeah. It's the Ness Lake monster.
So Loch Ness is Lake Ness.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Kind of disappointing when you hear it. You know?
Many miles away.
All right, so I got an interesting list here. This is the 11 best Thanksgiving movies.
Thanksgiving? Planes, Trains, Auto. That was that.
Oh,
Thanksgiving or
good
Christmas?
call. Number 2 on the list.
That was Thanksgiving.
That is
Okay,
Thanksgiving.
all right.
They're
Okay.
trying to get home for Thanksgiving. So
Okay.
there's a couple different ones.
God, what a great movie.
Okay, hang on. Before you give me the list.
Let me just give you number 11. I know we've all seen it. I know Mike goes on and on about it. From 1925, The Gold Rush.
He does go on, Mike. Like, seriously. I'm glad.
I actually saw Gold Rush. I like that.
my
movie.
God.
Are you serious?
We were joking.
Dude, it's a Chaplin movie.
Is it Charlie Chaplin?
That is a Charlie Chaplin movie. When I took a history of cinema class, that was the only Charlie Chaplin I'd ever seen. It's hilarious. Do you guys remember that there was a movie where he That's the one where he does the little dance where he like stabs
with the bread.
With bread, yeah. That's the Gold Rush.
Okay. I know the scene.
Okay.
Never knew that. Of course, Mike knows that. Jesus.
Let me go. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
All right, number 5 on the list.
All right,
11
all right.
best Thanksgiving movies.
Yeah. What's up, all right, hang on.
I'm surprised Vacation never did a Thanksgiving movie.
No, because they did Christmas. All right, hang on. I'm trying to think of any other Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, is that on there? It's a stupid
Right, they're
horror
doing
movie.
all right, horror
so
movies.
that's coming, or that just came out, or it's
No.
coming out Friday.
That's the Thanksgiving movie.
It's coming out
But
But
Friday.
that's Thanksgiving. There is a 2007, as they say, cinematic masterpiece, Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
that is not on the list.
It's a homicidal turkey.
Let's
Wait,
see.
are you being serious? It's about the turkey?
Yes.
Jesus.
Okay,
Christ.
so this thing looks like a high school cinema class project.
Okay.
Because the turkey is a very bad rubber puppet that has gone on this homicidal killing rage. The opening scene, I kid you not, it's X and Y Studios, and then poof, it opens up on the first image, and it is just straight nipple.
Here, I got a hint for you. You might not remember this person or thing but it is a Thanksgiving movie.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, 2002.
Oh, yeah!
But is that a Thanksgiving movie?
Thanksgiving occurs during the movie.
Okay, so that's
It's kind of
the
like
main-
Die Hard being a Christmas movie.
Okay, I got you.
Is that...
Mike might not remember this. You guys will when you had AOL at home. What did it tell you?
You've got mail.
You've got mail.
You've got mail.
1998.
By the way, just a quick note about the Spider-Man movie, 2002. That was the first of the big remakes. Topher, who the hell played it?
Topher Grace?
No.
Not Topher
That
Grace.
was
I know,
Tobey
he was
Maguire.
fun.
dude.
Tobey Maguire. So my son was watching the more recent ones, right? And so he wanted to go back and watch the originals. And by the time I caught up with him, it's maybe the last 20 minutes of the first Spider-Man movie. And at the end, there's a funeral scene, and he goes, Dad, man, you guys had really cool suits back in the day.
Yeah.
I almost kicked him out of the house.
Well, Zoot Suit probably trumped them all.
I mean, they were
Back
just,
in
in my mind, they're wearing suits.
Yeah, they're wearing suits. All right, just say back in the day.
We still have those, dude.
All right, here's another hint. Blind, but I love women.
A blonde. But
Blind, but
a blind.
The Ray Charles story.
No. Wait, Al Pacino. Scent of a woman.
Scent of a woman.
Because it was that time of the month. No.
A rom-com from 1995, Home for the Holidays.
All right.
These are the top
I've heard the
Thanksgiving
name,
movies.
couldn't tell you the movie.
1997. She's as cold as
Ice.
the ice storm. I don't remember this one.
That's the name of the movie?
Yep.
I've never heard of that one.
Number one on the list was Addams Family Values from 1993. Now, if you want to bridge the Thanksgiving into Christmas holiday, this is a classic. I had no idea it was actually a Thanksgiving movie.
Die Hard.
No, from 1947.
Wonderful Life.
Close.
It's not like Miracle on 34th.
It is.
Oh.
Is it really? Is that a Thanksgiving
Damn, that
movie?
class worked out for you, man.
Damn straight, man.
How old are you, a time traveler?
What's the most recent movie you've seen, Mike?
Well, this new one called Wizard of Oz.
It has color.
But only half the movie's in color.
That way
Right.
doesn't take you by surprise.
If you-
Woman's the protagonist.
If you got a new rock band or a new country artist, Mike is on it. If it's a movie that is less than 20 years old, you go F yourself.
All the Disney movies you have are probably close to 60 years old, too.
Yeah, I got a lot of the classics.
Somebody here says, wasn't Rocky during Thanksgiving? I got to think back. I know it's not a Thanksgiving movie.
The original?
The original one, right? So, going to fight Apollo Creed. It was around a holiday, wasn't it? Man, Rocky IV was definitely
I
Christmas.
thought it was 4th of July. Well, I guess Apollo Creed's thing was America all the
No,
time.
he just had the America all the
Yeah,
time
yeah.
kind of trunks. It may have been. 'Cause remember, Apollo Creed didn't feel like fighting this chump from Philadelphia. I just hear that you can't take him down kind of thing.
But they're definitely wearing jackets and stuff.
Yes, it was cold.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's other movies we're just not thinking of. I mean, look, that's kind of like one of the movies we talk about, like Spider-Man. Like, it takes place at Thanksgiving. It's like Mike summed it up perfect. It's the Die Hard thing. Like, it's not really a Christmas movie, but yes, it takes place at Christmas.
And now that you say this, you're absolutely right, because the big moment where Peter Parker is meeting whoever the Green Goblin was.
Yeah.
It was a Thanksgiving dinner that they're supposed to sit down at.
Bike messenger, knock me down.
So we talked about Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Apple acquired the rights to Peanuts back in 2020. But to show some holiday spirit and recognition of the special's 50th anniversary, Apple TV Plus will now allow non-subscribers to watch it for free this Saturday and Sunday, the 18th and 19th. 7-day free trial is available if you want to watch it on Thanksgiving.
So they own it? It's not like somewhere on YouTube? Or
No, they own it. They bought the rights
They
to it.
canceled all that crap out, so no one could do that, right?
Yeah, and like, look, I get it. It's just, I don't know. Like I was telling somebody earlier, or I don't know if it was in here, wherever. We're talking about when the holiday season starts. It might have been on the podcast last night. And I was like, to me as a kid, first of all, December is just a super long month because you're
Because
waiting.
it's now Christmas.
But it seemed like around the halfway through the month, you'd get the Charlie Brown Christmas, and it was like, okay, we're getting close.
Right. As a child, that definitely was the kickoff to your holiday. Because even the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, you're like, yeah. That's that's Halloween. When you do the Thanksgiving one, where basically, I know I'm going to be out of school within 2 days.
Yeah.
I know Christmas is ramping up. And again, I suggest everyone watch that. Just watch the scene with Charlie Brown and Franklin. I'll leave it
at Thanksgiving, I will say this. As an adult, I enjoy Thanksgiving a lot more. I still loved it as a kid, right? The Smiths always got together. We'd have a turkey bowl, have breakfast, then go eat the meal or whatever. But I mean, man, as an adult, Thanksgiving's just better. And there's just other stuff to do at Christmas, and I still love Christmas passionately. But man, Thanksgiving's just a great day. Like, I like cooking, I like having some pops, I like watching football. That's a good day.
The understanding is Christmas, most of the time, everyone's going to be at home. There's a couple of NBA teams that play. There's that.
Yes, you have some football on this year. You're right. Yeah. Christmas Day, to me, is the NBA's, kickoff. And I know they're already playing.
But Thanksgiving, they still make those teams play, which I appreciate from the entertainment standpoint. I know they hate that. I know when they look at the schedule at the beginning, they're like, oh, no, we can't go home.
I think a lot of them
We're playing a
man.
Thanksgiving game.
I'll tell you what, I think everybody in my family is going to be drunk this year because most of my family are Commanders fans. They play on Thanksgiving. I have one cousin that's a Niners fan, and they play the Seahawks on Thanksgiving night.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm actually looking forward to the football match.
Yeah, but the night game I can excuse because I'm already done eating.
Right. If you're going to watch something tonight, watch a little Celebrity Jeopardy. Our buddy Becky Lynch is going to be on there, man. Go get it.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage, to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify is here to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 15% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast.
Hey, cat-loving couples, dreaming of a proposal that includes your furry feline? Head on over to FelixPerfectProposal.com for a shot at winning over $4,000 for your dream ring and a special treat for your feline accomplice. Your engagement, your way. Let's make it happen together. Visit Felix, PURRFECT, Proposal.com to enter today. This contest is not being run in connection with the solicitation of or the marketing of an insurance product.
Getting older means a world of change, but some things still stay the same, like being at risk for type 1 diabetes, because type 1 can happen at any age. So screen it like you mean it. If just one person in your family has type 1, you're up to 15 times more likely to get it too. And 50% of type 1 diagnoses happen after the age of 18. So screen it like you mean it. Type 1 diabetes starts long before you need insulin, and one blood test could help you spot it early and lower the risk of serious complications like diabetic ketoacidosis, known as DKA. So don't get caught by surprise. Screen it like you mean it, because getting answers now can help you get prepared. The more you know, the more you can do. So don't wait. Talk to a doctor about how to get screened. Tap now or visit screenfortype1.com to learn more. Again, that's screenfortype1.com, and screen it like you mean it.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Because the maps, a woman is shocked to find out that Alaska is not an island state. We head to the friendly skies where a horse forces a plane to return back to the gate. Burglars repel into a store for a chance to win $1 million in cash. Driver of Santa Train for Kids, he was carrying quite the stash. And a real-life Texas horse thief is found hiding out in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cock.
At a top story, we go to Tennessee, where a man had a little too much holiday cheer. He was driving in the Christmas tractor parade and was carting around a trailer full of children. All, you know what? Why not? I'll be safe. There was no tea there.
Better safe than sorry, brother. Because you said what you thought you
he's
said.
involved in that Christmas ass. I bit my tongue in the middle of it, doggone it.
At least get the F in it.
But during his shift, a witness noticed that he was acting a bit erratically and that he was unstable on his feet. Officers responded and gave the man a field sobriety test, which he failed, and he was taken into custody. During a search of his person at the station, he was found with meth, narcotics, and a syringe.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. He was flying,
Jesus.
dude.
Come on, man.
Right? You're carting kids around, man. Can you not just hold it together for a little while? Come on. In other news, we go to New York, where a plane had to make an emergency landing at JFK. The plane had actually just taken off from JFK International and was just setting in to its 3,600-mile voyage to Belgium when they received an unsettling report. Turns out that one of the horses that they were carrying had managed to escape its stall during takeoff, and crews were unable to get it back under control. The plane had to first fly out over the Atlantic and dump about 20 tons of fuel before they were able to circle back and land safely back at the airport.
Did you listen to that audio?
No.
It's just kind of funny. Is they're like, yeah, we're a cargo plane. Like, it's not. There's no issues with us flying. It's like we just can't get him back in the cage.
Right.
Like he's out.
It's a horse.
Yeah.
Man. And we have not been in this situation. Right. What should we do?
There's loud noises. There's rumbles. There is no calming this horse down while we're in the air. We need to land this thing back down. To the lovely world of the internet, where one woman has just made a shocking discovery. She uploaded a video to TikTok in which she told of her stunning revelation that Alaska's not an island. She had been in a conversation with her Canadian boyfriend where she learned that Alaska is indeed landlocked and can be accessed by driving through Canada. In this conversation, she also learned just how big Alaska is, thinking that it was smaller than Texas this whole time. It was basically, she looked at a map, and you know how Alaska's down there with Hawaii, where it's just kind of off to the side because it's not a part of the continental U.S.
Well, they never attached it to Canada. They always put it on their own little...
That's right. Towards the end of the video, she claimed that the country needed an entire overhaul of its curriculum, or you could just not be stupid. That works, too.
Keep looking at the map. Yeah, that's you.
Man. It is. Men's Room Sports, not a whole lot going on locally, but you do have some college football on over on ESPN2 and ESPNU. You got NBA basketball on over on ESPN. Portland Trailblazers are over on Root Sports tonight, as well as some college basketball on FS1 and ESPN+. However, in the world of hockey, your Seattle Kraken going into Edmonton this time to get their asses handed to them by the Edmonton Oilers.
Probably.
We'll see what happens there. That's it for headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. The head chef is back with Ted's Meat and Potatoes. Big Dummy as well. Lovely Taryn Daly's up next. More Green Day tickets.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo Stove Fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Feeling overwhelmed and unsure what to do next? Look no further. The personal injury attorneys at Phillips Law Firm are here to help. Phillips Law Firm understands that accidents can turn your life upside down. That's why they're dedicated to fighting for the compensation you deserve and to making the process as stress-free as possible. Don't wait any longer. Call now, 1-800-JUSTICE, or visit justiceforyou.com.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
Ah, the satisfying sounds of more sales in your business. And from the sound of it, your business is growing. But you shouldn't have to pay more to scale your business. With Stamps.com, you can import orders from wherever you sell online, find the lowest rates with the fastest delivery times, and instantly deliver tracking updates to your customers and stock up on supplies. Get started at Stamps.com today with code PROGRAM for a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale.